Good morning and good day. Audrey Whistler here, definitely not reporting from the bottom of a whiskey bottle. Honest, yes, I might have partaken in quite the Madani-sponsored drinking spree, but can you blame me for spilling my guts and then spilling more of my guts? But speaking of spirits, I expected to find N in much worse. Not because N does tend to be rather serious, or that murder certainly calls for a degree of sobriety, but, well, a number of outstanding factors. Warfred Bartosz can read minds, for one. Let's call that discovery a happy accident. In fact, he took the liberty of reading Willow's mind. He ought to count his lucky stars that he didn't receive a blade in his brow then and there. If I got into the number of ways that little maneuver inspired venom in N's veins, we'd be here all day. So let's just not and say we did. Mum is indeed the word with Willow right now, though it worries N to keep this secret. See, N has feared for years that those who stole their eye might be capable of reading their mind again, then using what they dig up to strike N where it hurts, or doing that to anyone N cares about. So receiving confirmation of that possibility has been troublesome, to say the least. But N isn't the one being targeted by the known mind reader. It's Willow, which, for better or worse, emboldens N to their cause. Meanwhile, if Willow doesn't know their mind is being read, Warfred is less likely to be tipped off. The name of my current game is preventing Warfred from knowing a bullseye is painted to his back, so we'll stay silent until it's finally time to divorce his head from his shoulders. Yes, then it won't matter what he plucked from Willow's brain. Though, naturally, that's not the only thing preying on Willow's mind. Pun unintended. Anyway, via the Speak with Dead ritual, we learned that Tarek Elham's killer was likely some creature. Some tyrant with roving eyes and the ability to hide under the guise of a humanoid face. Getting a little close to home there, aren't we, Mr. Elham? Willow did make an inspired suggestion that N take up their concerns with our local monster hunter Damon, but he'll be busy with a shifter-headed shopping trip until further notice. So, until such an appointment can be arranged, N is left in a limbo of uncertain questions that sway between the auction hall and the Snapdragon Theater. Fun! But of course, who could forget the third damper on N's mood? Me! Drinking herself silly to avoid crumpling under the weight of her friend's terrible experience. Telling Brina about the Snapdragon incident was a bold gamble, I admit. But the fact I am now dancing hand-in-hand with the good detective does make following my leads a little easier. Let's just hope spilling our secrets doesn't lead to the world burning this time, shall we? So, there we have it. 3 of N's greatest fears, mind-reading, eye monsters, and spilled secrets, all in play. I wouldn't be shocked if I found myself unable to stand today, and not because of the whiskey's influence. Instead, I'm lighter, as if I've confessed something deep and dark, and come away a new changeling, which is quite bizarre. I don't feel as if I've said anything that went beyond what N already told the usual suspects, and yet here I am, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. So it's back to work with me. With Uka busy walking secrets home and staying out of trouble, I was brought on as Rena's left hand, or eye, in the investigation of Tarek Ilham's apartment, which I must admit paints quite the incriminating picture of Meraldine. Everything from the teapot to the makeup she gifted him to an ink pot lovingly engraved with an M. Oh, and lest we forget, she was mentioned as the visage that lured Tarek to his doom. Yes, it does not look good for Captain Frostroot. I'd say we found our killer. Warfred. Really now, did you expect me to fall for such an obvious farce? You've gone so above and beyond pointing the finger at Meraldine, it seems an understatement to say 4 fingers are pointed back at you. Take it from someone experienced in sneaking around. Subtlety is key. You'd think your education in art might have taught you that, but I suppose your art was never any good to begin with. Speaking of art critics, I discovered the other piece to a little puzzle that's been playing on N's mind for a while. The letter Edmund Beckett sent to Tarek. The one requesting he bring his opera to Sharn so the city might, too, find itself entranced by the raw tragedy his work summons to the stage. Yes, I'm sure Edmund would enjoy that. Seeing all of Sharn squirm in their seats. I'm underselling it. When I say finding this letter in Tarek's garbage delighted me, as did Meraldine calling Sir Beckett a vulture. It appears I am among my people. Which made it all the easier when yours truly bent Meryldine's ear. See, she's caught on to the fact that we're closing in on a suspect, and being the ambitious woman she is, she wanted to ensure justice was dealt without delay, preferably by her own blade. It's an instinct I certainly can't fault, but tragically not one I can condone. Fortunately, all it takes is one little wedge, one perfect suggestion, preying on the right pressure point to win over even people like Meryldean. And so I did, by suggesting to her that haste makes waste, or an encore of her boyfriend's death, in this case. A compelling an argument, wouldn't you agree? And it's not as if I lied. Certainly I can't guarantee the Snapdragons won't return to kill Tarek again once Warford is out of the picture. If you eat a delicious meal, would you not return for seconds? So better we go for the roots rather than simply snip off a branch. Yes, better for all of us, I hear. And lucky me, Meryldean agrees. So perhaps not every secret shared leads to ruin. Now, it's up to me, Meryldean, and Brina to lay a trap that might catch Warfred and his ilk. It's been a winding road to get here, and might yet find their way to victory. Give us ladies a moment, would you? We need to discuss our masterpiece.
Oh my gosh.
There was something incredibly lesbian about that entire thing.
Yeah, well, but it's Audrey, so.
Is it you feeling like a lesbian?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Are you the lesbian?
I think you might be the...
I think it might be you, yeah.
Am I the problem? Am I the drama?
I feel the solution. Anyway,
Maybe.
that was such a cool recap. Oh my god, I love hearing her voice for
So
the whole
good.
thing. The worst news weather report.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Weather report. Great
Bad.
googly, it's all going to shit.
Yeah.
Yup.
Anyway, we pick up in the late afternoon with Audrey, Brina, and Meryldean Frostroot inside Tarek Elham's apartment, discussing your next moves. Brina begins. We need evidence in order to indict or arrest Mr. Bartosz, and our options are either as follows. We get a search warrant to investigate and see if there's anything he hasn't left behind, or somehow get him to confess. He was pretty chatty when he came in to talk to me right after the murder, provide testimony, and it's pretty possible that we could use that to advantage and trick him into confessing. Meryldean interjects. Well, if he is the killer, and he clearly has a distaste for me, she gestures at the pile of contaminated evidence, I'd be more than happy to play bait for the task.
Audrey's nodding along. She listens to Brina and Meryldean speak. But I think she will pipe up at that.
Yes, I do think that's a smart excuse to get close to the killer, and we definitely should keep that in our pocket. But if you don't mind, I believe we might already have our bait.
Meryldean arches an eyebrow, and Brina sort of squints and with a little bit of a frown. How do you mean?
Well, see, I've been keeping my eye on a coworker of mine. You remember Gil.
And that said to Brina, and then Audrey's gonna look at Meryldean to see if that... is there any recognition of that name?
No recognition from Captain Frostroot. Brina nods somewhat, still concerned.
Yes, well, I've been noticing them take their own interest in Warfred. In fact, they've commissioned him. Even been visiting his studio for appointments.
What's it? Gilded Brush, was it?
Well, yes, that is where he works. I'm talking about his personal studio. I'm talking about his home.
There is a shift in Meryldine's expression that is reminiscent of a cat about to pounce.
Mm-hmm. Yes, well, with Gil, I think it might be personal. They do have Siren origins, and as you may recall, Detective, they were too distraught to give testimony following Tarek's death. So I am willing to bet that Gil is prying already. I think Gil has a personal vendetta that they are angling for with Warfred. And in that case, I'd also bet Warfred has taken a particular kind of unwelcome interest in them, if you catch my drift.
Brina sort of scratches the side of her head with the back of her pen and is like, that is troubling.
Yes, I've been concerned about it for a while, as... Well, from what I know of Gil, it's quite likely they are prying, and I don't know if Warfred will take kindly to that for much longer.
Yeah, that is definitely troubling, but I don't know, it doesn't sit quite right with me having somebody who's not in on the case act in the interest of the case. I mean, it is useful that there's somebody already in position to have reason to meet with Mr. Bartosz on a regular basis. I don't know.
Well, yes, I understand it's not ideal. However, I think this actually might be the best possible position we could have. See...
And Audrey's kind of looking at Brina in a way like hoping that Brina catches what she's suggesting right now.
Warfred has magic that allows him to see through people very easily. If we involve Gil and they know it, then there's a good chance our whole operation will be revealed before it even gets off the ground. So I think keeping them out of the loop might be better.
Brina seems a little hesitant, but Meraldine is. Well, then, it sounds like you've got the right tool for the job. I say we go ahead with that, darlings.
Yes, well, I'm still waiting to hear when the next appointment will be. It seems to be up in the air at this point, but I will definitely know. Until then, all the appointments have been based at Warfred's apartment, so chances are we can start to plan our operation in that area until we know what date we can pounce.
Brina still looks a little uncomfortable with this, but sighs and says, well, if we're going ahead in the meantime, then I guess what I can do is at least set up Peter to monitor the apartment, see if there's any strange comings and goings.
Audrey nods.
Observation is probably our best tool at the moment, see if there's anything that we can catch slipping.
Yes, I agree. I think a slip is what we're probably angling for at this point.
I think Audrey's keeping an eye on Brina, kind of like wondering if there's anything she can say to help ease whatever's making Brina uncomfortable, but maybe not here.
It's kind of just an uncomfortable situation right now, so.
Yeah.
Geraldine sort of sighs and says, "Well then, if that's your angle, what am I to do?" Well, if you're unfamiliar with how familiars work, then being able to see through Peter here works best when I'm relatively close by. Geraldine nods and presses her fingers to her lips for a moment, then says, "Perhaps I'll go find someplace nearby. You have the address?"
I do.
And Audrey will rip out a page in her little notebook, jot it down.
Yes, I agree. I would also like to be close to the scene in the event that we do have to get a little closer.
Rena says, "Well, if we don't have to trespass, that makes stakeouts all the much easier." Geraldine takes the note, looks at it. "Yes, I'll get right on that, I think. I'm sure there's a room for rent somewhere in the vicinity. What's the range that you need?" Brina says, "Well, if you can get me within 100 feet, that's best." Geraldine nods. "Got it. Well then,
Audrey nods.
Sounds like a solid start.
if we're all done here." Brina nods. "Should be for the time being."
Audrey nods as well. Maybe like on their way out, Audrey might actually ask something of Geraldine though.
Oh, I was just thinking, Peter, you're familiar with the comedy and tragedy masks in theater, yeah?
"Yes."
I don't suppose you've seen any silver ones lately.
Geraldine pauses. Thinks. Let me roll for her.
Ooh. Oh.
Not bad.
No, not that I can say, I'm afraid.
No, just curious.
Goodness. Side checker. Okay. So sorry for backseating.
She's definitely not lying about that. But she seems to have clicked something about you asking
Yeah.
that.
Well, that was also half the hope, so
Yeah. Okay.
Audrey gives a little nod and turns on her heel and heads out with Brina.
Okay.
Captain Frustrate called me a tool.
Congratulations.
Me too, but I think it was a different kind.
Oh man, handshake in the background with Gil and Luca. Tools!
Congratulations. It's not all it's cut out to be, trust me.
No!
Oh, God. Anyway, we have the closing shot of Geraldine looking at the inside of Tarek's apartment as she closes the door behind her and locks it. Earlier in the day, we've returned to Luca, who has just had a unsettling encounter.
That's a word for it.
What you up to?
I think I will head back to the hotel
Okay.
and leave the door cracked so I can hopefully hear when Damon
Mon.
Damon
He's a Digimon.
returns. I think
Yeah.
Luca kind of knows his job right now is to sit and wait. So that's what I'll do. Sit and wait.
I don't think you're left waiting for too long. Make a perception check.
My favorite. Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, you hear Willow and Damon returning back.
Oh, yes, Willow.
I imagine you're hearing probably a rather enthusiastic conversation about, dare I say, like battle stories
Oh,
from Damon, or have they moved on from that?
I don't know. I would say that like Willow is probably more enthusiastic about this than Damon is, who is sort of recounting it in the way of like a funny, in retrospect, anecdote that sucked
when
at
I
the
say-
time.
When I say enthusiastic, I mean not like a dire conversation. So let me turn
Yes.
that down a little. An ongoing conversation. Like it sounds
Yeah.
like they've been talking for a bit.
Yeah.
With Willow like asking occasional questions about specifics of random dire stuff that like dire in the past, but kind of funny in retrospect stuff
Yeah.
that Damon's talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you
Aw.
just hear like the echo of probably specifically Gil's voice being like
I never thought their heads would come off that easy.
and such like that.
Yeah, I think Luca has a bit of a smile at that, but I'm going to. Yeah, I'll meet them at the door.
Okay. Damon and Willow about to part ways. And Luca opens the door.
Fancy meeting you here.
Oh, Luca.
Luca, yes.
Damon gives you a little one hand up greeting.
I'll give him a nod in return. Was your expedition fruitful?
Well, I believe our good friend here has officially hit broke.
Not quite. I have 2 gold to my name.
Luca winces a little, like, come on. What? Oh, no, we can deal with that later.
And treasures. Many treasures.
Big shopping
Oh.
trip.
I'm going to guess one of them is paper. A notebook, textbook, a scroll of some kind.
Good guess. I did purchase a tome.
Well, is that insight for me?
Yes, that was an insight of Luca. Also checking, I guess N isn't here, but I assume that N's at the appointment.
And is that
With-
their
with
appointment?
Yep.
So insights of what Luca's vibe is.
How do you say I need to talk to him without you? That is the vibe.
Oh, no, it's good that I can read that. Because, sometimes people do give off that impression of like, I wish you'd leave, but in a
Yeah,
nice
like-
way.
Can you
It's more like-
walk away?
Yeah. I would love to have a private conversation.
Yeah.
I think Willow's going to look between Luca and Damon, and then kind of
Speaking of time, I might get to studying. Seems like time is of the essence.
Luca nods. And
Damon?
you, Damon? Damon?
Well, I was gonna, I guess, stop for lunch, perhaps, after dropping off my bags.
Okay, I need to eat as well. Why don't I go with you?
Sure. Damon just puts some stuff away in his room and then gestures for you to follow.
I'll bring you something back.
Willow waves their hands like, don't worry about it. I imagine that we snacked on the way
Oh yeah.
in saying, yeah, so like Willow's kind of feels like they've eaten, and Damon's obviously like, no, I haven't sat down for lunch yet. So
Mm-hmm.
our two humongos can go and eat again. And Willow's going to kind of back into the room with a sort of, you can't see obviously because they are Gil, but they're watching closely, like they wonder what this is about,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not really up to them to say, so they'll let it happen. Little weird
Mhm.
tension, they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Not like it's tense, but it's just, I don't know, who knows. Luca's had a little
Yeah.
bit of a tone about Damon, so seeing them talk and walk together, it's like, has something happened? Are we in
Mhm.
trouble? Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
time to study.
Okay.
Question though, did we
Yes.
would have checked the mail on the way in? Anything? Any letters?
Nope, not yet.
All right,
Were you expecting something?
Wilfred.
Oh yeah, no, nothing from him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Willow's going to watch them go and then do as they said, unmask. Actually, maybe sit around for a sec and pull that earlier note out of their pocket that they were looking at early in the morning, like their little slips of paper that they've been carrying.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of sit for a bit and like unwind, process as well. Everything they just talked about with Damon.
Mm-hmm.
Evidently not just the goofy stuff they were talking about at the end, like other stuff.
Yeah.
Just have a quick lie down before they get into it.
Cool. In which case, we'll follow Damon and Luca downstairs. Instead of going to the in-house restaurant that is part of the Gold Dragon, Damon walks out into the courtyard. Luca, what's your relative position?
Beside?
Okay.
I'm bodyguard.
Okay. Walking beside him. Damon glances over your way and says, "So what do you want to talk about?"
Not sure if it's something we should talk about while walking.
Well then, let's find a little bit of privacy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Damon takes a detour and sort of ducks into an area that's sort of in between, like, the public hotel side and, like, the staff entrance, where it's like, it's not quite an alleyway, let's call it an alcove,
Okay.
where it's relatively isolated and out of the way.
Okay.
Leans up against the wall and spreads his palms to gesture for you to talk.
I think Luca will match by leaning against the wall, but he's more closed off with like folded arms and maybe crosses an ankle.
Mm-hmm.
So, keep in mind that given the source, I am taking everything with a grain of salt, or a cube of salt, the kind you would give to a horse. But, did Damon laugh?
I think there was a twitch of something on his face, but otherwise not.
Okay, cool. So, today I was visited upon by... lowers his hand slightly, about Alonso's height. A certain attendant to someone who you spoke to at the auction. Looking at Damon like, do you understand who I mean?
Inside check for Damon.
One.
It was an 11, so.
11, so
two
shut
ones.
the fuck up.
He sort of squints and says, "Can I get a few more specifics?"
Mustache, little glasses, little guy. Kind of creepy.
Somebody I talked to.
Well, no, the person you spoke to is his employer.
Oh, the butler of that creep.
He approached me and said... Luca kind of laughs to himself like, this is ridiculous. That you have a habit of getting the people who work for you killed. Yes?
Were those his exact words? Or
God, what were his exact words?
he has a tendency to lose servants.
Right. Luca will say that.
Damon sort of picks at his lip and is like, huh. That's one way of putting it.
Obviously, I'm a little bit... Luca, like, waves his hand in, like... You know that half and half gesture?
Yeah.
Yeah, like Salt Lake Stone, but I thought I'd hear your word from it before I brought this to the other two. And if you do want to work with us, which you seem like you're being genuine about, I thought it would be fair to let you be the one to explain that, if it is something that needs explaining.
Well, I don't know what the butler knows about me. But in terms of losing servants, I can only imagine the fact that I've outlived a good handful out of them.
Luca shrugs a bit. It's hard not to think most of the people in positions of power in Siri lost servants at one point, so...
Yeah.
A tasty little inside check on his vibes. I know I need like a perfect 20 to get anything out of him, so...
Hey, he might roll low as shit. Don't lose faith.
No.
Let me guess.
Mm-hmm.
He rolled
Oh,
a
you
perfect
are.
20.
Come
Yeah.
on. Oh my god.
I'm sure he has lots of
This
practice with
motherfucker.
this. So.
Yeah, he's outlived. He's trained for this. He's been repressing for decades. You said Zeke is sending us the nat 20, isn't he? Yep, there we go. Zeke.
This
God, the
motherfucker.
smug little.
Smug little bastard. Yeah, Damon rolled a 31 or something.
No, just a 45.
Ay.
Wish you'd roll low. So we
This
can
needs to
learn
be
about
in
you,
Willow's
Willow.
facility. And then you will
Yeah, you should bring it back to the room and you roll a 1.
Yeah.
just pop him in there. Just for a minute.
My AoE.
Yeah.
So,
And Damon, what you see on a 12 is
nothing. It's fine.
Damon is very hard to read, but he does appear to be concerned about your concerns, let's say.
Mm-hmm. Good start. Good start.
Sounds like the butler is trying to sway you against me, and while I know I'm not exactly the highest standing in your opinion, I'd be happy to assuage any worries you have. I haven't killed anybody that's worked for me. Let's start with that.
That's a good thing to hear. But I'm more worried about, let's say, callous disregard.
Oh, how best to ease your mind?
Try the truth.
Yeah, but will you believe it coming from me?
I'm in a position where I could assume everything you say is a lie and that you are going to get me killed, which leaves me in a state of anxiety. Or I can hope for the best. And if you are some kind of, Luca makes a hand, evil serial killer, then I will deal with that when you try to kill me. So.
Not a serial killer.
That's what a serial killer would say. But I'm going to assume you're not for the time being. So if you can give me something to kind of bolster that, it'd be great.
Well, thanks for the vote of confidence. What I was actually going to suggest is having you talk to somebody who actually has worked for me in the past. However, we're kind of a bit far away from anybody that would apply to. So, you can see I'm at a little bit of an impasse. And I doubt that written testimony would be as convincing as an in-person conversation for you. But let's just say the Ardantagos have a history of employing people for life. And in general, those lives tend to be long and, while not completely free of danger, well compensated and very comfortable.
Do you think that will convince Anne or Willow?
I think for those two, actions speak louder than words.
Right.
But, like you said, given the source, you have more reason to distrust him than you do me.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty crude seed of doubt that he's tried to plant.
Yeah. I mean, no offense, but the fact that you're in this position kind of leads us to assume that you may have lost servants. Luca makes a face at saying it like that. I'm going to assume that people just stopped working for you because they didn't really like you. No offense.
Yeah, that would be a kinder way of putting it. Well, I'm not cursed in the traditional sense of death following my every step.
That's nice to know. Okay. Well, I just thought it would be fair to warn you that I will be forwarding this information, however unreliable it is.
Damon nods. Thanks for the heads up.
And thanks for the reassurance.
Finding myself less and less eloquent these days. I think I've been spending a little too much time around our mutual friend.
The most eloquent person that I know.
Oh. Is that all?
For now.
Yeah. I'm always happy to answer questions within reason.
Fair enough. Why don't you buy me lunch?
Aren't I already?
Yeah, let's go.
You go get lunch.
Yeah.
We move forward in time.
Mm-hmm.
Golden hour in Regalport. Large clouds gather on the horizon, big and fluffy and gray. Audrey, you return to the Gold Dragon.
Yep. Audrey probably asked Brina on the way out just if Tassie's name in particular had come up at all regarding the information that she'd gathered from Arl in the memorial. But just a passing casual question that definitely doesn't have any particular weight about it.
She lied.
Just pinned at the end of everything.
Make a deception check.
I don't know if I'm actually trying to deceive her.
Well,
I think she knows. She already knows, so there's no real point.
It is your nature. Damn.
I think Brina says, you know, I don't really remember. Let me look through those things again. I'll get your answer back.
Okay. Is she lying to me?
Yes, she is, but to spare your feelings.
Oh.
Yeah.
She's not lying outright so much as she is trying to stall you.
Yeah.
Well, I won't pressure you. I know you have a lot to work through. We both do. But I would appreciate it if you checked again.
Will do. Have a good evening, Miss Audrey.
You as well.
Audrey will give a little salute and head on out. And do the usual evening mail check and then head back to the Gold Dragon.
I think you have received some mail in the meantime.
Oh.
From Jaylee.
Oh.
Okay. Kai's the one who picks up this letter because Kai's the one who opens the mailbox. Nice. Arches his eyebrow at that. Tucks it into his cloak.
Pen pal.
All right. Yeah, Kai, you're really gonna fucking... I think Kai is gonna take this into an alley and, like, just peek at it just to see what it's about. I'm so sorry, but this is... I don't think he can leave it.
Yeah, okay. You skim the letter. It is, Jaylee contacting N, Caster. Her writing is a little flustered. She sort of starts the letter with a paragraph of, somewhat waffly, small talk of like, how are you? I know we saw each other the other day. So I guess this is a bit weird to send you a letter, but that sort of thing.
Yeah. Kai
you
just
can-
flat
you can-
faced going through
you
that.
you can sort of hear the mental stuttering, even though her words are obviously don't have all the pauses. Anyway, she wanted to let Castor know that the man they warned her about, the butler, recently contacted the studio to ask if Jaylee would be interested in selling the piece that was on auction independently. Jaylee hasn't replied yet, since it's a letter, or rather, no, Jaylee, he went in person. Jaylee hasn't replied yet, saying that she would have to check, and wants Castor's advice on the matter.
Aw.
All right.
It
well,
is late enough in the day that you shouldn't have to worry about it right now,
Yeah,
but
that's
it's
what I was
probably
thinking.
something you'd want to address tomorrow or so.
Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan.
Oh
All
boy.
right, well, Kai neatly folds up the letter and tucks it back into the envelope and tucks it into his cloak, and will head out of the alley and back to the Gold Dragon.
Yeah. Who arrives back at the Gold Dragon? Which face are you wearing?
And I think we'll just cycle on
Okay.
back.
Okay.
Walked into the alley as Kai, walked out as N.
And rubbing their brow like, this has been a I feel like a pinball in this last few hours of the evening. Rina's lying to me to spare my feelings, which I don't know what to do with that, and now this, and let's just go home and have a conversation
Yeah.
about monsters. That'll
I'm sure it'll be a
certainly
fine
lift my
conversation.
spirits.
I'm sitting here guiltily with like sweaty hands, like, yeah, I hope you have a relaxing night at the hotel.
That's fine. This is fine. So yep, and I'll show up as in.
Yeah, you
Mhm.
will find Willow at the desk with a book and some papers, all spread out. One, like they're in the process of writing on a loose leaf.
Mm-hmm. I think also Luca is definitely back by now and probably brought. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is evening now. Hours
right,
have
right, right.
passed.
So true.
Hours have passed. Luca came back. He brought you lunch,
Did he
dinner.
elaborate at all?
Also, I imagined Luca would have waited until both of you were there, so that it's
Yeah, I would have said, just wait till N gets back or something like that.
Yeah, if Willow asks. There's
Yeah.
kind of the silent back and forth of, you will tell me when you tell me, I'm not going to pry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luca has, I imagine, been sort of passing Willow snacks during their study hour because they haven't gotten up from the book.
Yeah, refill their water, make sure they stay hydrated.
Put a sandwich next to them.
You think
Bowl of
Willow's like
fruit.
Willow says like, thank you, don't worry about it, but then like mindlessly as they are studying and reading, like, you know, the hand like automatically
Yep.
moves to pick up sandwich and they are just eating without realizing. So
Yeah.
the sandwich is gone before they
Yeah.
even really acknowledge that it's there. You know?
Yeah.
Reaches for sandwich, it's already gone.
It turns out I already ate it.
Yeah.
I pick up
Truly,
the
there is
potato
no
chip
greater
and I eat it.
disappointment than like. There's no greater disappointment than like going to drink out of a mug and being like, it's empty.
Yeah.
Oh,
You already
Yeah.
drank it.
Willow does it a lot when they're studying. So it's like,
Well, the good thing with Luca there is the mug is never
the mug
empty.
will never be empty.
oh, that's nice. Willow will cast like a little grateful look over at him briefly. It doesn't matter if he sees it or not before like just continuing, taking notes, writing stuff down.
I think when he hears the like sip of the cup being emptied, starts making fresh tea or whatever.
Mm.
Whatever Willow seems to like
Yeah.
to study with. Yeah.
Willow's like,
I imagine,
Sorry
Luca,
about-
you're doing like your idle tasks are maintaining your equipment,
Yes.
making sure everything is in good shape.
Including my body. So
Yes.
Doing squats.
yeah.
Doing stretches.
if Willow hears anything too invasive, they're going to sort of like turn and look at him with the vibe of, Do you mind? Like he's doing a workout in a library.
As he's doing the squats like that.
I was thinking of Luca just like sharp, like making sure his sword is sharp, and shield is all buffed up. There's no grit in his arm.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no. The sound of workshop is also kind of like ambient for Willow. The sound of the docks is ambient for Willow, so it doesn't need to be complete silence. It's more like invasive things, like if Luca starts singing,
Nah.
Starts like talking to himself while he works out. Like, oh yeah, you're doing so good. Just one more, and you got it.
Oh my god.
Gonna look so sexy today, I swear.
Yeah. Oh. That's okay. No, anyway.
Anyway, N arrives on this scene.
Yeah, what exactly is Luca doing? What equipment is he maintaining right now? You tell me.
Breastplate.
Okay. Well, the thing about that breastplate is that it is a breastplate of gleaming, so it is never dirty, but you are still looking over it and being like,
there's got to be something here that I can fix.
You just been lost in your own reflection, like a bird.
Yeah. Oh, who's that handsome guy?
Oh,
man.
He can like check on the leather straps that like hold it.
Yeah.
Buckles and stuff. It's just it doesn't need to be cleaned.
Yeah.
So, and we'll walk
Doesn't
in.
need to be polished, but you give the inside of it a good like wipe down, make sure there's nothing, no sweat
Gum
or anything
sticking to it.
Like, although you do always wear an underlayer between that and the armor because bare metal on skin bad.
Oh, so bad.
Not fun.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Anyway,
and
Anne has returned. Willow is head down studying. Luca is fiddling with his armor.
Yep. And glances between them both, like chucks their stuff onto their bed. Having a productive evening?
Always?
Good.
how's N?
Let's find out.
Oh yeah, let me roll too. Oh,
Yeah.
wait.
What are you selling? What are you buying?
Nope.
You're buying anything I give you at this point.
Aw.
I think N seems like a little tired, but that's to be expected. They had
It has been a long day.
a long
out.
day. They'd been out and doing stuff with Brina regarding the investigation, so they were out all day. So yeah,
Yep.
makes sense.
Willow will say, "How is your?" I can't ask, and then look back to their work.
And gives a shrug, apologetic shrug. Stamen in?
Did he come back with me?
Yeah, Anne's
Yeah.
asking.
Yeah, he's in.
Uh,
Well, he was the last time I checked.
Willow has paused and is thinking. Hasn't answered yet. Their back is faced to N, just while they look at their book.
All
And
right.
that note.
Well, before I sit down, I might as well see if he's willing to speak with me. A professional capacity.
Actually,
And looks at Willow. Something wrong?
not specific. Well,
What's wrong,
Oh.
Willow?
wow. Okay.
Higher than you can roll, but roll anyway to see how good you do.
Oh, I have to roll. I just assumed a fail. Okay, let's see how bad I fail. What is this?
Yeah.
Deception, persuasion.
Persuasion,
What
I'd
is-
say.
Persuasion, yeah, because I'm not trying to lie to you. I'm just stalling on how to speak. Fudge. Willow.
The ears are pulled back.
Yeah. They are nervous to tell you something. It is evident that they have written something to give to you, and they want to tell you before you go to Damon. but they also don't want to say it because it might be troubling. But that same troubling means they don't want you to go to Damon. So it's kind of like that back and forth. You're just caught that loop of thought.
Now, I suppose you just spent the day with Damon, and considering the dispositions involved, I imagine that trip wasn't entirely silent.
No, we did have some enlightening conversation.
Maybe some conversation that perhaps voids my need to go talk to the monster hunter himself.
Willow's going to sort of steel themselves and then finally like turn to you guys, because they've been talking kind of over their back. They're still sitting. I wouldn't say void. I of course don't have all the information that you all have, so there might be other things that are missing. However, here, Willow's going to pick up that thing they were writing that they added to since they got back, and hand it to N. Like, they fold it and they give it to N. I'll share it with you, Rom. It is a hesitant, like, they are very hesitant about it.
Yeah, and
For a number of reasons.
And accepts it, and gives like a little nod and a tip of the paper appreciation.
Yeah, Willow's gonna say as well, of course I have recently come upon new research. I am in the process of passing it currently, but that's the summary of our conversations.
All right. Well, this should be helpful. And start off with optimism. Yeah, and I
You
guess,
can probably read this out loud on
again,
stream too, because
that's my intention. So I'm gonna like kind of look at Willow for a moment. Almost, it's kind of the energy of like, can I open it now? Derogatory.
An unpleasant present. Yeah.
An unpleasant.
And
I'm just
presents.
thinking, is there anything, can I roll an intelligence check or something just for one little check of like, is there anything I haven't considered with regards to showing N this now? Or
It's already opening it, so
I don't
can
think,
snatch it out your
yeah.
hands. I can electrocute you.
that's sus.
Is there anything
I don't
I
think
can
so.
do? It, do I just have to trust my gut? Okay.
Trust your gut. You've done as much prep as you can.
Okay.
All right.
Better to know than not know.
That's N's motto. So, N begins reading silently, but I will read aloud. Aberrations, Delkir. The fall of the Takani Empire was brought about by planar alien invaders referred to as Delkir. This classification is broad and includes not only the presumed invaders themselves, but assorted minions and weaponry. Symbionts are magical items, questionably sentient. Thought to be made by Delkir, they need to be attached to another creature and cannot live independently. Delkir were banished by gatekeepers. There is not much documentation about the Delkir and as such, classifications and specifics are sometimes ambiguous. Nothic. The result of an affliction or curse that befalls those that attempt to uncover the secrets of the Delkir for their own power. First known details: the Dakani/Goblinoids that attempted to understand the Dalkir's secrets. Wizards and arcanists dabbling in esoteric magic in pursuit of immortality, etc., became corrupted by curse and mutation. Can be killed in conventional ways on the material plane. Good to know. Likely locations: Delkir ruins, the realm below under the Moor Holds, Shadow Marches. Beholder. Eye Tyrant. A creature brought along with the Delkir during the invasion. Their magic helps them acquire and oppress minions. looks like a big ball with one big eye and one big mouth. Then 10 other eyes on antenna. Illustration attached. Magically tinkered copy of Damon's sketch.
And here is an example. I don't know if you show that to the stream, but I feel like
Oh.
Can I?
You're an artist.
I'm sure it would have looked better from Damon, but Zeke drew this with a mouse.
Yeah, I drew that with a mouse. I don't know where.
Oh, I thought Mim drew that. My bad.
No. I drew that.
Give me a sec. I'm gonna get it on the stream. 1 second, everyone. You
Everyone
need
needs
to
to see this.
appreciate this masterpiece. Just
What's Damon's art degree like? Did he get one?
None. 0.
0 art degree.
I feel like I should do a better version of that because, like,
Here we go.
Sorry, Zeke.
No, it's perfect.
There's our man. There's our problem.
I feel like it encapsulates the vibe of I drew this on a napkin while we were walking and talking. So,
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
It gets the point across.
MS Paint Beholder.
Anyway, back to this.
Yeah, back to the issue at hand. Skills.
And
Yeah.
Willow's used a magically tinkered copy, so it's like a little. Anyway,
Yeah.
I think they can do that. They did that with N's sketch once of Luca's face.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Skills include decimating armies, enslaving sentient beings to punish them arbitrarily, destroying great heroes, and displaying their bodies as trophies. Monster Hunter advice: do not approach a beholder, even a sleeping one. Quote unquote. They are, quote unquote, more dangerous than dragons, due to minimal documentation about them. And, like, folds the letter with finality when they finish reading it, but then, like, opens it again. So this is, from Damon, I imagine.
Willow nods.
And nods back. Well, it's certainly enlightening. Good to know I'll have to work at it to become an Othic, huh?
Willow gives a little like, don't say that kind of face, and shakes their head.
Tyrant, that's pretty familiar, if you remember words from a certain someone.
Willow's gonna glance, towards Luca. Are you showing Luca the letter?
I think En's still, like, kind of... They've waved it around a bit as they're gesturing and speaking, but they haven't, like, handed it over yet.
Okay, sorry, carry on.
Well, I'd say we're lucky that it was described as slumbering, but according to our hunter here, even sleeping ones are dangerous, which... Yeah, I could believe that.
Perhaps dangerous insofar as they can wake up. I did ask him if they dream, but he didn't know.
Oh, obviously there's limited documentation. What can we
I
know,
didn't-
really?
I didn't share the entire excerpt. Willow gives a little nod towards the tyrant wording. I didn't share the entire excerpt with him, but that was his response to what I did share. For the most part, I've been requesting his insights in drips and drabs.
Makes sense. He's a wealth of information, why wouldn't you? No, this is good to know. And then, like, squeezes their eyes shut. Like they're tensing up their body and they're releasing it. It's good to know. I don't suppose we know anything about if this beholder could possibly shapeshift into something less, and gestures at the doodle.
I don't think there's anything definitive about that yet. However, there are monsters that are capable of disguising themselves as people, or alternatively, people who are also monsters. Uncertain about how that relates to current goings on, but
Yeah.
Willow's kind of occasionally shooting little side glances at Luca, like they feel awkward talking with him out of the loop while in the room,
Yeah,
but they're
and
still respecting that N is like, this has a different kind of pressure
Yeah.
on N. So
I feel like N is recognizing that slowly, but they're struggling to let go of the paper.
No, that's fair.
Right. Might even like look down and focus on his armor again, so it kind of feels like two are having a private conversation, almost.
I feel like Willow's hands are like sort of, when they rub on their knees, like they are
Yeah, yeah.
slight nervousness of bringing you information that sucks, really, in terms of its massive implications, even if it is productive.
Yeah. Yeah, I think N's pale. There's like no way to really hide that. But they're keeping up their usual front. They are acting as if they're their normal self, but they're pale. Paler than usual. What about transmutation magic? Could that hide a monster under it? A monster like this? If it was thick enough and piled high enough?
Probably not like a beholder.
Do I know that? Do I have to do a check?
Uh,
Or is that
the
part
way
of Damon's
Damon,
example?
I think there's always signs of power. Like, you can't completely disguise or eliminate signs of intense magical power. Especially not Delkier-based magical power, specifically because it is so weird and alien.
So it is unlikely to be disguised under transmutation magic alone? Is that...
A beholder, certainly not. Something smaller might be easier.
Okay. Does a Nothic count as smaller?
Yes. Nothics are way less powerful than beholders.
Yeah. Because I get the impression that, like, the Dalkia brought the beholders, they're, like, sort of commanders.
Yeah.
In a way. And then, like, the Nothic are kind of, like, consequence of engaging with those monsters.
Yeah. Yes. So, like, an aberration in general could be disguised as a human by transmutation magic. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing you know from what Damon told you about beholders is that they are way too powerful to pretend to be subtle.
Okay, so it's not... Okay. Willow will probably mention that then, like, on the scale. Is small aberrations, yes, but a beholder, something that powerful, it's unlikely.
Right.
Question to Zeke. Is it better to say impossible in this case? Willow hardly says impossible, though.
Yeah, I think it's
unless
unlikely.
They know for certain. Yeah.
I think Willow's saying unlikely.
Yeah. And, yeah. Yeah.
Skills include destroying great heroes and displaying their bodies as trophies. And kind of bounces their eyebrows and glances between Willow and Luca.
Yeah. Willow's
Luca
head
is
goes down.
Playing with his armor, not engaging.
Even if that one's directed at you?
He's not listening, so he doesn't know it's directed at him.
Oh. Yeah. Willow Willow deliberately wrote that part down, and yeah, the fact that you pointed it out is clear what they were thinking.
Yeah. Alright, well, this is definitely more information than I started the year with, so... Good. Thank you, Willow.
Willow gives like a dismissive kind of head tip. They will probably add. I think it is worthwhile mentioning that even if the literal monster is not present, that any affiliation associated with that monster might try to act in their image. It's it might be confusing. It might be mud in the water. By all means, it could be very literal in this case. But I just thought you should know.
I get it. We don't really know what we're dealing with. If it comes in parts or what. But I certainly prefer knowledge over ignorance, except, and wiggles the paper around, perhaps in particular instances. Oh, definitely, good to know before heading off to the moorholes. And is really struggling to hand this over to Luca. Like, Ron Brain is like, give it to Luca, and En's like, just holding on to it.
No, they don't. They don't need to now. They can give it to me later when they're ready, when they're
Willow-
more comfortable.
Willow might say, you can keep that. I can explain to Luca myself, or write another. It's information that could bear being copied.
Yeah, I think I'll hang on to this one. It's probably valuable to have on hand.
Keep it hidden. I don't need to tell you that. But with the caliber of people currently residing in Regalport,
yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to be caught with this hanging out of my bag.
I think Willow's going to cast a quick look. En's got their eye patch off, yeah?
Yeah.
Is their eye out? Like,
No, they've pretty much been hiding it the whole time they've been in Regalport, so it's become habit for them to just have it hidden.
yeah. A thought occurs to them, but Willow's like, nah, that's enough to take on in one sitting. For now. And I think,
I think En, like, zoned out visibly. Like, they're just staring at the paper, and it's folded. They're not even reading it at that point, but you get that kind of, like, 1,000-yard stare when... I think because you're looking En in the eye to glance at if their eye is out, or what the state of it is, if it's looking directly at you while En's looking down.
horrifying.
Horrifying.
Like a chameleon.
Yeah. Yeah, En has zoned out a bit.
I think Willow's gonna sort of clear their throat towards Luca.
That kind of brings En back to, yeah, well, I assume other than this, both of your days went okay since you're back here in one piece?
Yes. I have gifts. Okay, Willow's like got that reaction of like, I know how to fix this.
Presents.
Wait. Yes. Okay. Willow like, wait. Okay. Okay. Willow's gonna like spring out of their seat, probably a bit more intensely than they expected to.
And
then
like
give, like, a
tenses.
1 moment.
Like, oh.
Yeah, pardon me. Dig into their pocket and remove the umpire's coin,
Yes.
which I imagine Malachi might have chucked in a bag or something. I don't know. Malachi strikes me like
Paper bag, little.
paper
You
bag
want
that
wrapping?
Willow might have, folded over. Willow's going to raise it from our good friend Malachi, sponsored by our good employer, Mr. Ardantego. A gift. Willow's going to sort of gesture between En and Luca. Like, who wants to take it? Who wants to take it?
It's a coin.
It's in a paper bag,
Small-
so you won't know yet.
Yeah.
Give it to Anne. Give it to
Cool.
Anne.
Okay, Willow's going to hand it to En then.
And tucks the paper in their pocket and
Hmm.
takes the bag.
You open it up, and it is a small disc of iron. Currently blank.
Yep, okay.
Yeah, currently blank.
And we'll dump it into their palm. Is it like a coin? Can they run it on their fingers? Is it shaped in the...
Yeah, it's a little bit bigger than a coin. It's like a very large coin. I
Mhm.
would describe it about the size of a ping pong ball in terms of diameter.
All right. And still might try to do a trick with it.
Slide a hand check.
Might drop your gift.
Not bad.
Well, good. You can roll it like nothing.
Nice. I think that act kind of calms En's nerves a bit, being able to do that and steady their hand around the action. They roll it and catch it in their palm.
Yep.
What's this do?
Question to Zeke. It needs to be attuned before it works, yeah?
Yes.
Damn. I was just going to cast magic.
Brat stands out of the room.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Are you attuned to
You
yours,
struck my
though?
magic missile. Oh, yeah.
You've had the time, haven't you? You could have.
Yeah, I have. I probably might have done it when I was like winding down, like when
Yeah.
Willow was lying on their back earlier in the room. Okay.
Yeah.
So Willow, I think while N is like flicking it over in their hand, Willow's going to bring out their own,
Mm-hmm.
and show it right next to their face with a big like
Mhm.
smile, and say, They'll probably look to Luca. For the purpose of demonstration, would you mind casting some magic on me?
Luca has to switch gears from cleaning his chest plate to magic man.
Going through his magic, like,
Huh?
which one won't kill Willow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly,
you
he
could
would.
tr-
on
you could try
like
casting.
instinct would be cure wounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very cute of you. Willow's standing
Other
there
one
very
that you could
proudly, chin
do-
up.
Or the other one you could do is sanctuary. That won't do anything to Willow.
No, I like the. He's a wound healing boy.
He's a nurse, like he told Alonso.
Yeah. There goes a spell slot.
Sorry.
That's the end
Hopefully
of the
we don't get in
day.
a fight tonight.
Yeah, it's fine.
Hope no one breaks in.
Or breaks out, looks at Thale. Are you
Yeah, I
casting?
cast cure
Okay.
wounds on Willow.
It has no visible effect, seeing that Willow is not wounded. However, the coin changes to say cure wounds, and the time
Oh,
Oh.
and date.
it actually says it. That's Mim going, whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm imagining it like appearing like how, like money, you know, when you get the writing on money,
Yeah.
like going around the skirting. Oh. Willow
Huh.
flips it over to look at it. Cure wounds. Time and date.
And leans in a bit to observe that closer. Huh. And
Damon called me an amateur. Willow says.
Grin is spreading on his face. Oh, really?
An
An
said that I
amateur.
had no way.
An amateur of what?
Danger, apparently, and of course he doesn't have the whole story, but I, well, might have been a little out of my depth. Probably still am a little out of my depth. However, now I will know if I have been tampered with. Pardon me for taking the more shiny one. I'd like to study it myself and make us all.
No, I think damaged
Very
goods suits me just fine.
Ugh. Lily rolls their eyes.
And smiling about it.
That one should work just as well after you attune yourself to it.
Oh, fancy, fancy. And holds it up and admires it a bit. Yeah, this is good. This is really good. Thank you.
Tiny little.
Actually,
You know what, Luca? Make a freaking perception check after Zeke talks.
and make an Arcana check
Oh,
Okay.
with advantage, I think.
Oh, okay.
ooh.
Perception.
Oh my god. Oh,
Natural
19.
24.
Ooh. So, N, you are familiar with a different version of these. These are much smaller and more portable, but you are familiar with a version of this kind of thing in casinos and stuff, or other sort of regulated games to inhibit magical cheating.
That makes sense, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and grinning up at it. I think they start rolling the coin again, just kind of starting a cycle with it. They seem very pleased
Mhm.
about having this.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
You knuckle walk it across both hands.
Yeah.
Feels like safety. Feels like knowledge. Feels like power.
It does.
Luca. I think Luca spots Willow's tail wagging.
Aww.
Like, after all of their nervous shuffling, they've given this to N, and the demonstration worked perfectly, and now N's spirits have lifted, and then there's just like that movement beneath their pants.
Aww.
My baby. One baby.
Just the little the light sound of fabric shuffling as Willow
Yeah.
does a little Loki tail waggies.
Yeah.
I love them.
So,
Is that everything Willow has? Is Willow gonna give anything else?
I think,
Give me more
One
presents.
wise, I think Willow might, like, they've got poison tabs. How many did
Mhm.
I get? 5?
3.
3? That might be 1 each. No, I got 5. 5 poison
Yeah, it
five.
was 5.
Right, yes.
So I'm going to hand one to each of you as
Am I
well.
immune to poison or just disease?
Disease.
Disease.
Okay.
And also, it's useful to tell. Willow will also, like, if we wanted to keep going with this scene,
Yeah.
like, Willow will explain. Like, also,
I have detect
anybody-
poison, so like if you wanted
do I?
to split it between the two of you, okay then.
it's useful to have as, like, a quick...
What if you're in a pinch and you don't want to be caught casting a spell, you know?
Mm,
It'd be tricky
can't
to
say
avoid.
I've never been there before.
And can remember a
that you
particular
know of. Huh?
and can remember
And
a
can
particular point in which you might have been caught casting magic when everyone would have preferred that not
Oh,
to happen.
right.
But they're not going to bring that up.
Willow's just like, you haven't been poisoned. That you know of. There has been no attempt in your life that you remember. So yeah,
I think I'm a
Willow's
nice
going to-
guy. I don't think anyone would want to poison me.
Nice guys get poisoned all the time, Luca.
Oh.
Willow's handing this to you. I
I'll
think
take
Willow's
it.
handing them out in the sense of like, and if either of you two find yourself in a position of being poisoned, and then like divvies these out. This can help.
I think N kind of snorts at it because they're remembering way back to the lighthouse when they're like, is Luca giving me poison cheese? So this doesn't necessarily, I think, because it's a tab. Would that work on solid food? I don't think so.
You rub it on the food.
Okay. Well, now I'll know if I'm being handed poison cheese without having to stare down the person
It
giving it
is
to
a
me.
one use only type
Yes.
thing, though. So
Obviously, I will be discerning about the cheese I rub it on.
yeah.
Anyway.
Unfortunately, litmus paper is not reusable.
Yes, I'm familiar. So, and it's just like reminiscing about how worried they were about being poisoned back in the day. And this is handy too, considering my just general broad paranoia. Both of these are very good anti-paranoia tools.
Yes. Oh, thank God. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, well, it's given those out. They would also explain that it detects like intentional poisoning. Yeah?
Yes.
Like it has the intent detection in it. Like someone is deliberately trying to poison, or like
Yes.
this has been deliberately poisoned. Not just
Yes.
like you
For
are being
example-
accidentally poisoned.
Yeah. So, for example, it would not be able to detect the essence of peanuts if you had a deadly peanut allergy, because that is
Yes.
not.
Unless someone
I-
was, would it work if someone was like, I know you have a deadly peanut allergy and I'm putting peanuts in your trail mix for the express
No,
purpose?
it doesn't detect.
Allergens.
No.
Okay, just
You
checking.
need a different set of those for that. They do make ones that are specifically for this type of allergen. This is more of a general like, will this kill a humanoid? Yes,
Gotcha.
no.
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay. So it doesn't detect intent specifically.
It detects
intent with
poisons.
poison.
Yeah. This person
It
going,
detects for-
I'm poisoning someone. It's like, ping.
It detects for common poisons.
Nice.
Does it
okay.
deal poison damage? It will detect
It
that.
detects it. Oh boy, we detected. Man, okay. Cool.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Willow's feeling a little chuffed with their little gift sesh. They are flat broke, but they feel good about it.
Yeah. The response
you also
is
haven't
positive.
showed off your two other major purchases, which honestly cost way more money than those things.
I don't think Willow wants to show their pendant yet.
No, but the book.
'Cause but the book. Yeah, no, the book Willow will. I think Willow's kind of forgotten because they're just like gifts for my party people, and then they
Aw.
probably stand back and like leaning on the desk next to their gigantic tome that they forgot
Yeah.
to introduce.
They're gigantic, full color, illustrated, glossy paper.
What you got there, Willow?
Hardback.
Poison tabs. I'm gonna make an insight.
A skewer.
I'm gonna make a perception check just to see if I notice the book.
Oh my god.
Do you think that counts?
Oh yeah, it's super obvious. It's super obvious. That's a new book. That's a new big book.
So I think Anne kind of leans very obviously past Willow. Like they're peering past Willow. They look at the book and then look at Willow. Have a
Willow looks
visit to the
book
library?
and then- Willow looks at the book and looks back at N like they haven't clicked yet what you're implying until you talk. And then they say, "Oh, no, the bookstore."
Oh, so
That's
you
why I'm
own
Willow,
that.
Willow gestures at Luca with a thumb over to the book to explain. I think I said that to you already. And yes, we own it. So this is free for study if needed. It's up to date too. Vidala's
Ah.
Guide to Exotic Creatures, Tome of Bestiary? Bestiary. How do you pronounce that? Mim says.
Uh,
I think either is
either
acceptable.
bestiary or bestiary. Just your accent of choice.
Okay. Willow would have said that while looking at the cover.
That does seem handy, all things considered.
Probably worthwhile all of us taking a look. And after what Luca suggested to our neighbor, might end up coming in handy.
True, yeah, our little hunting expedition. Well, I won't take it off your hands too soon. Let you get familiar first.
Probably good to rest your mind from that side of things for now.
Yeah, I think I've maybe had my fill of monsters for the day.
Hmm.
Luca, how was your
Mhm.
day? You've barely said a thing since I got here.
Oh, me. I just spent the day with Secret Elsa and had lunch with Damon. Should we eat?
I feel like something's off, but I can't figure out what it is. Maybe it's just me.
Luca, make a deception check.
Give
Contest.
it a shot.
If you're rolling that one. Whew.
Deception. Where are you?
No.
Oh my freaking
God.
God. Why are
Wow.
you lying?
Well, I will say you roll with disadvantage because you did say to Willow that you wanted to tell Anne about something. To tell both of them
Yeah,
about something.
I'm like, we just had a nice moment.
Well,
Yeah,
roll the
no, I
deception with
understand.
disadvantage for my sake.
Please.
Yes, so eat it, both of you.
Alas, Willow is going to respect your pacing and just let it slide. We need to eat. We can have difficult conversations later. Or we can have whatever conversations after we get some food in us and enjoy this little moment of settling in our skin after
Exactly.
this disruptive, unpleasant conversation.
Yes.
All right. Yeah,
Exactly.
Mhm.
I'll
So
leave it.
And I don't think
have
it's
it
aware
after
of it.
dinner. Yeah.
And just like new coin,
Yeah,
new
because I'm
coin.
deception.
Willow's
Yeah.
like gifts, 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 gifts.
And is absolutely continuing to play with the coin. This is how they attune to it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yay!
After 10 minutes of rolling it around, you are attuned to the Empire's coin. Please mark it on your character sheet.
Nice.
It weighs
Good job.
nothing.
Cool.
Good job, Anne.
Thanks.
Good job, Willow.
Thanks. You know, Willow's idea was that you guys could like decide who's taking it, but I feel like
Yeah,
I
and
think
has
Anne
unfortunately
has
attached to
decided.
it.
Did.
Yeah, Luca
Yeah,
can borrow
truly.
it, but and has attached to it for the time being.
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's fair. And needed it at the moment, more so. So yeah, nice, happy, and also Willow's a little bit like, I don't know, not impressed, but like chuffed with Luca managing the mood a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, you know, not to, it's nice.
Yeah.
Even if he has
You-
done that little, let's eat some lunch. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's a good idea.
I'm trusting you. Aww.
Aww. That's new.
Look,
did that
there's having dinner will not hurt the conversation.
Nah,
Let's
of
say
course not.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
I don't
can
think
only
N
help.
has eaten much today, honestly, come to think of it.
Yeah.
Nah.
They realize kind
Okay.
of like now that they're feeling it.
Tummy rumble.
Yeah.
Are we ordering on Damon's dime? If so, I will order many foods.
You have all of the food that you have been ordering for the hotel room has been on Damon's payroll, with
Hell
the
yeah.
exception of whatever Willow has explicitly bought for themselves.
Okay, cool. Nice. So I can order a big dinner for everyone.
Thanks,
One of
Luca.
everything.
Damon hears the little ka-ching sound of his wallet like emptying.
Like the
Gets the
Sims,
notification
just
on his phone.
just the dollar signs float up from his status bar.
So, they better be worth it. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
we have a
so-
nice dinner.
And we'll
Mhm.
eat and probably let Luca / Willow lead the conversation.
As we do. I think I will wait till most of the food is like settled,
Yeah.
consumed at the end when we're
I
starting
think
to slow down.
I think we reach a point where like and you have to like loosen a belt loop because
Aw.
tummy full.
Yeah.
I
Must
have
be
a
comfy.
I always imagine Anne like when they forget to eat and then get to eat a lot, they almost overeat because they are so excited for food that
Have you
it just
seen
like
those kittens, and when they like take whole mouths of food, like just their jaw
shovel.
opens wide and they just shovel it in? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and is a tiny kitten who doesn't know how to eat yet.
Or a hamster.
Oh, I know how to eat.
They know how to eat. They just don't know. They just start suffering the consequences now of like
Yeah.
Yeah.
full tummy, brain
Eyes
a
bigger
little
than
bit.
tummy.
Yeah.
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 My
Yeah.
hunger outran my actual physical like confinements.
Form.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've outpaced yourself a little bit. I
Yeah.
would say Luca eats even more than N just by sheer size. But
Yeah.
this is he
And is an
eats in
impressive eater.
moderation
Yeah.
and is impressive eater for their size.
Yeah. It's the ratio.
Yeah.
So much food
Absolutely.
to go change them.
I'm very
Yeah.
stretchy.
Yeah.
And says lying on the floor in a food coma.
Yeah. And it's definitely sat back.
Yeah, reclined for sure. So, after dinner, what
Yeah.
now? I will say, to set the mood a little bit, night has fallen, and quickly, because it is dark and cloudy, and rain and wind are starting to pick up.
Ooh. Spooky.
But you're indoors and cozy.
Yeah, I think Willow's going to, like, when we're cutting back, I imagine like Willow's sort of checking the sky real quick.
Mhm.
Can I make a quick perception check?
Sure.
Okay.
Do you see storms, Captain?
Is Luke asking that?
Yes.
Willow's observing what kind of storm is rolling in.
There are different kinds.
This is a sort of natural oceanic storm of like it's been getting quite warm lately, and this is all the sort of rain coming down once again. Normal summer storm, the first of many to come.
Yep. Is there any indication from looking alone and just experience of like how long this is it going to be a storm that goes all night?
Maybe not all night, but there will probably be a very intense downpour, like an hour in for 10 minutes, and then it'll clear up. You're just on the edge of it, where it's like the wind is picking up and rain is falling in, but you haven't reached the middle of the storm, or rather, the middle of the storm has not reached Regalport yet, but will over the course of the night.
I think it's one of those things where you can see like the thickness of the distant clouds, like you know it's going to roll in. But yeah, Willow's. What did Luca ask? Something about a storm?
There are different kinds.
Willow didn't say that out loud though.
Yeah,
Willow
yeah.
was just looking. So, what do you
So
say?
I
Is
was
there a storm?
asking.
Something?
Yes, is there a storm coming, Captain?
Looks like it. Seems we'll be confined to the room for a bit longer.
Oh no.
Storms are good.
What a tragedy. And reclined back. Like they're not planning to move for the next couple hours.
Well, stormy weather might be good because I have some scary story to tell.
And's head like walls to look at Luca.
Yeah, this was a good idea. En's really out of it, so
And's got sharp eyes. They're just full. They're just weighted.
Okay, Willow's gonna probably sit back down at the table again and be like, "Quick before N upchucks again."
And slaps Willow on the arm.
I feel like Willow pokes N in the stomach.
And grabs a pillow and hits it Willow in the face.
God.
Just a quick smack, smack, trying to build up to a conversation.
yeah.
It
I'm
has a
about to have a
reflex.
difficult conversation. I can't rein in my siblings.
Don't call us that. Willow's going to adjust their glasses and then like gesture at Luca to continue after N just hit them with a pillow.
Well, after I dropped Secret Elsa at the ferry, I was approached by Beckett's attendant.
You spoke to him.
Luca nods. He spoke to me, and I spoke back.
What did he say? Did he recognize you?
He seems to have recognized me from around.
He didn't specify
in
where.
his God?
Yes, I believe he mentioned
Yeah.
that he saw you at the gallery and at the
The-
memorial.
Memorial. Yes. So I will specify that. But obviously, we don't know if that is the extent.
It's probably safe to assume that he seems sharp, so I wouldn't put it past him that he saw and recognized you from our little excursion at the Crown.
Luca nods.
What else did he say?
Quick.
Hmm?
Willow tried. Willow's sort of, while Luca said that, has quickly cast detect magic.
See if Luke has been bugged.
Yeah.
There is no magical aura in this room that you are not expecting.
Okay. All right. That was just kind of like a reflex to what Luca said. Same as with Warfred almost. But yep. Okay. Keep talking.
He obviously commented on the fact that I've been out and about in different capacities. So Luca makes a face. And he was so kind as to give a warning regarding our employ under Damon.
How did he?
Mm-hmm. Said that Damon has a habit of losing the people in his employ. Luca makes a face like, I'm so stunned.
Yeah, I think N rolls their eyes a bit, but looks at Willow, like from the corner of their eye.
I think after casting detect magic, Willow's sort of rested with their elbows on the table and their hand over their mouth, just like thinking. Their cheek flinches a little at that.
Because they too think it's stupid.
I don't know if you can read their expression at the moment.
You know what?
Make
I'm
an
going to make
insight
tasty
check.
little
Yeah.
insight checks on everyone.
Nope. I think N's thinking about a million other things at this point.
Yeah, you
Oh,
just got your
no.
letter from Jaylee as well.
Yeah, we'll get
I
to
don't
that.
think I don't think I'm trying to do anything persuasive at the moment, but I just I'll put persuasion as my stand-in for Willow's natural sense of guardedness. I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
Hey!
I beat you!
What the hell? How do I lose that? That's so rude. That's disrespectful. Man, come on.
That is incredible, actually.
Unnatural one.
That's stunning.
I'm so sorry about your charisma, Willow.
No, I think, that's fair because it's not the kind
Yeah.
of thing, Willow's not deliberately hiding it. It's just you have to look a little closer. So you guys have
Yeah.
looked a little closer, even if you failed.
I think on a nat 1, N might catch the tail end of it at
Yeah,
most, but
definitely
they
distracted.
are absorbed in other thoughts.
Yeah.
So what does Luca
Um,
see?
Lucas sees a little flinch of discomfort with hearing that. It's the discomfort that comes from ignorance, like they don't know something decisive enough to counter this. They've spent all day with Damon. It's just that kind of feeling, but at the same time, their attention has swiftly turned back to why is Alonso doing this?
Yeah.
What's he getting at?
And is probably the first to speak up. Like, well, we have to consider the source before anything.
He comes with a whole bottle of salt.
Indeed. And why he would say this to you, why he would approach you. I'm
not going to just settle on the idea that it was an act of goodwill or he doesn't have an angle here.
Somehow that doesn't seem like his method.
No. Obviously, we don't know enough about the employer in question to really comment, but let's say I wouldn't be shocked if, I don't know, maybe he gets up to dangerous things and that leads one thing to another. Speculation is useless. I would rather spend our time considering why Alonzo approached you and what he knows. He didn't mention either of us, did he?
Nope.
He didn't, did he? No. No. Lucas shakes his head.
Alright, well. Why would he?
But also take that with a grain of salt. I think I was a bit shocked that he was speaking to me, so I might not be the best judge of how our conversation went.
At this point, I'm gonna go ahead and assume he probably sees more than we think, so I'm not going to bank on the idea that we're all covert here. Let's just run on the assumption that the cat's out of the bag. To some degree, anyway. Even if you are the cat in question, gestures to Luca.
Like, yeah.
Oh,
Luca does not say that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I think Willow's got a thought. Willow's got a series of thoughts. Willow's been quiet as they mull this over from 800 different angles. By which I mean mainly 3 at this point in time.
Do you want to share?
Yeah, I think Anne looks to Willow.
Luca looks to Willow.
Willow realizes they're being looked at. I think Willow's going to bring out their book, their journal, that they always write in. And they'll say, they kind of weren't fully listening to what you guys were saying, or not absorbing it fully anyway, so they might end up reiterating. They'll mention, like, it's not so much about the truth of the statement as it is what he accomplishes by putting it out into the wild like this, or rather,
And
with
nods.
someone directly under Damon's employ. How forward-facing member.
The only one who's spoken to Beckett.
Of course, it goes both ways. Willow's thinking now again. We talked about Edmund's reputation and how to damage it, what that could do to take down the work of the entire operation that he is in control of. I wonder if Damon has been mislabeled as a spearhead for the operation that he doesn't want to be a part of. Willow's like pondering that as one thought, and they'll write that down, which is Damon perceived as the ringleader for our little investigation.
Yeah,
And then they'll move
nods.
into another point. Alternatively, was there any intention for you specifically?
Luca shrugs slightly. He was difficult to read.
But he didn't blatantly ask you to become the bodyguard of one ex-Dark Lantern.
Luca shakes his head.
Willow's got a wayward thought. That is to say, we don't know enough about Luca to know if Alonzo has ulterior motives for Luca specifically.
Yeah.
So Willow's going to mention, probably specifically, because that's probably what the energy of what they're writing down. They'll mention, we can't rule out that they might know something about you that you don't. Though that is a reach. At present.
Not
And perhaps
impossible.
a little too paranoid, but not impossible. Yes. Willow's like a little bolstered by you using their tagline, which is difficult but not impossible. They'll jot that down quickly. And they're also considering something that like settles on them a little gravely, I guess, but also like a you know when a thought is so like far-fetched that it almost makes you laugh.
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
Willow like lands their pen on the third point. Two Sirens dead in one city. That's suspicious. Two Sirens dead in one city that have appointments with an artist is very suspicious. But one of those Sirens dead under the employ of someone with a reputation for it is a different kind of suspicious.
You're
Luca is
suggesting.
confused.
Are you suggesting that Alonzo is trying to plant the seeds to make it look like Damon killed one of us, and gestures at Willow to take the attention off of someone else?
Is
It's a thought.
that what Willow says? Okay.
Willow responds with "That's a thought." It sort of seems like they are aware that it's like also that thought necessitates that Warford has told Alonzo about like
Mhm.
suspicions. But that's not outside the question either. Willow feels like a little angle has been opened up that is far-fetched but not impossible, which is to say the same thing that we are hoping, the same contingencies that we are hoping to use, or Willow has been hoping to use with Warfred, can be reversed to fire back on us as a unit.
Not impossible. It's true. But so far, at least we know that Alonzo hasn't been in contact with Damon since. At least we can assume.
I think he would have told me. I hope he would have told me.
Probably would have told one of us. Or that's going to be a problem down the line.
Quickly, didn't Alonzo mention that he wanted to speak to Damon?
Yes, but
Yes.
we don't know
Luca
that
mention
yet.
that?
Yeah. Sorry, I don't have my notes for the Alonzo conversation.
No, it's cool. Just reminding in case
You did
wanted
give
to
him the
bring that up
gold
now.
dragon we're staying at.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I should probably mention that.
You did give him Damon's contact details.
He asked for my contact details, right? Or Damon specifically?
Damon's.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
You could mention that now because N just said like he hasn't spoken to Damon.
Right. Well, he might, in that he asked me for contact info for Damon.
Willow sits back
And-
now, like tapping their lip.
And you gave it to him.
Luca nods.
Right.
I couldn't think of a reason not to.
No, that's fair. We don't want to raise any more suspicion than we already have.
Willow also writes that down, and they also gesture to Luca in a way of like, they'll say, it's the risk we took by aligning with somebody who's known.
We have to ask
And-
then why he wants to contact Damon directly.
Willow feels like they've started another bullet point because they feel like there's obviously something there, but they just don't have enough information yet. They can just theorize.
Yeah, that's all we
But-
can do.
It's
And
they'll
rubs
probably
up her head.
quickly write down like things Damon is useful for, intel, history, antiques,
Money.
artifacts, money, of
He's
course.
not wealthy.
No, he comes
compared
from a
to-
wealthy family, so you can
Yeah.
power, collaboration, like going in line with the same metric as like was Edmund trying to collaborate with Tarek before deciding I'll kill you instead, like that kind of thing.
Mm.
And then there's an unfortunate Willow writes the name Ardantego and the unfortunate memory of having no insight other than they sponsored the Fabricators Guild and they are not present in the Regal Port Library and Damon has avoided questions about his family. That pops up as the like hollow space at the bottom of the page after Willow's writing.
Mm.
Just like, I don't know about what to get out of Damon
There's a lot of
because Damon
unknowns.
hasn't told us.
There's a lot of unknowns here on both sides, which is a problem. And, like, peers towards our door, which is across from Damon's. Can't say I'm a fan of the idea of the two speaking, but...
What did he say to you, Luca?
That his people in his employ enjoy long and well compensated lives, even if they are a bit dangerous.
Willow has just ended their entry with, you guys can see it, they've written Y at the bottom of the page, question mark, dot, and then paused.
Well... And reaches into their bag and pulls out another letter. Alonzo's been pretty busy then.
He sent you mail?
Oh, wouldn't that be funny? No. I've been planting seeds of my own. I spoke with Jaylee a couple days ago. And I asked her to contact me if Alonzo approached her again. Considering him and his master were so interested in her peace, has been rubbing me the wrong way. And well, and wiggles the letter in the air. He visited her studio today and is asking about the sculpture from the auction and procuring it personally through Jaylee. Regardless of the logistics of the matter, he is asking for my input.
What's your instinct?
Well, my instinct is not to be trusted and is to not give them anything, but my second instinct is even worse. And rubs at their brow.
I feel like Willow... Is it to... Dare I say that I could probably guess what Anne is suggesting?
Oh,
Because I just had the instant like sense of when you said that, and I feel like that's not something I could roll for.
Yeah, I think Anne might say it if you don't.
I'll just know that
Luca
Willow has
gives you a
braced
look.
themselves.
Yeah, and rubs at their brow.
Questioning.
Lifts their head. This is a perfect opportunity to lure Alonzo out where I want him, wherever I want him. But that means using Jaylee.
You have reservations about that?
Willow kind of laughs. Like it's a joyless kind of laugh, just a breath of a laugh.
Look, I might be paranoid here, but I just have concerns that Edmund and Alonzo might have deeper reasons for their interest in Jaylee, and I'd rather keep her out of the line of fire as much as possible.
Luca looks a type of way.
You got a thought on that?
No.
It's not what your face says.
Well, my preference is not to involve people. So,
Yes, which is why I'm not inclined to go with that direction, but
She is already involved. And I'm not endorsing it right off the bat. I just can see where you're coming from.
I'd rather leave Rigoport knowing that she is safe. To do that, we might have to take some risks. She does trust me to an extent, so it's not out of the question that I can convince her to play a game.
do you want to?
The result is her safety at the end of it all, then why would I not use an opportunity to that end? Why would I leave this open? Why would I let him approach her again without me being there to observe it? Why would I why would I let him anywhere near her? I wouldn't let her anywhere near him alone.
You
So
can
then-
take that off the table completely.
Then our options are either we let the sculpture go to Alonso and see where that takes us, though. And looks like they're visibly see that thought, tapping the paper on the table. Or we withhold it. But why and to what end?
And Willow's going to it's like pulling teeth to say. We've also seen what happens to artists that reject Edmund Beckett.
Exactly.
And Willow looks very uncomfortable. It's just got differently complicated.
Regardless of if I advise her to let the sculpture go or to withhold it, that neither of those guarantees Alonso won't show up or act in other ways. You see, if we withhold it, then, and gestures, we've seen what happens. We give it, then give them an inch, they take a mile.
Unless we prevent them.
Unless we prevent them. Either way, I'm going to see her tomorrow, and I'm going to have some sort of answer. I don't know how quickly Alonso works, but
Willow nods at Luca. He certainly seems to get his way around Regalport.
seem that way.
Busy man. I feel like the uncomfortable reality, this is Mim saying, the uncomfortable reality of Jaylee's Jaylee as bait is just like sitting heavy on our little table.
Yeah. I can read his mind, Alonso. There's no block there. I tested it at the memorial.
I think Willow's perked up a little and they've started writing some thoughts down. Again, like little ideas.
We could arrange an appointment. I could be there in some capacity. I will be there in some capacity. No fucking way am I letting him sit in a room with her alone.
You could be Jaylee.
Could be Jaylee.
I shouldn't be talking about this. Willow's sort of doubled back on their thoughts. Mind readers about. Pardon me.
Yes, that's why I would hesitate. But it is a possibility.
Removes the possibility of her being injured. Well, of course, it introduces the possibility of you being injured, but of course, we are all.
Well, she has the disadvantage of not being able to catch fire when someone injures her.
Willingly. Sorry. Willow said that with such a I'm so very sorry that I let my thoughts speak aloud.
I think the shock of that comment, like,
sorry,
startled the laugh out of and like just pure disbelief. Like, what the fuck is this conversation? I'm so fucked up right now. Anyway, great.
If there's any leftover, Willow like, suddenly I'm sipping some tea, I think.
I'd rather control this than leave it to chance, so...
Hmm.
We leave it to chance if we just say reject, then that puts the move in his court. He can come back, try to negotiate, send more letters, or worse. If we suggest discussion, negotiation, further contact, then we can control what happens next.
Look, Willow's response is kind of, I feel written into their actions, you know? They've made it quite clear where they stand, but they're glancing now again at Luca. How does he look?
Neutral.
Okay.
And, well, I'm not under contract with this. I assume. So, I obviously wouldn't attempt this alone. Similar arrangement to Warfred, I imagine.
Willow gives a little smile.
Except I'm the one going into the lion's den. Some degree.
Don't give either of them the dignity of being called a lion.
Oh, you have a point. Well, either way. Unless I have any objections at this table, I do believe I have my answer of how I'm going to advise Jaylee. I just have to decide what I'm going to do with that outcome.
Maybe my next appointment, whenever that is made, will be enlightening for the next course of action.
We'll see which pieces move first. I'm going to visit her tomorrow. Don't want to leave this up in the air.
Forget, you can ask her for her opinion on the matter.
Willow nods.
Yeah, I get the feeling we might have to have a talk. But that's okay, she already knows I'm investigating a murder. And tucks the note away. Oh, we can sleep on it. Thank you for telling me, Luca, about your encounter with Alonso. We'll just have
Luca
to
nods.
keep our eyes open. Oh, what, 24 of them?
Luca is confused. You can see him trying to count how many eyes we have.
Less than that, ends making a beholder joke, but Luca didn't see the drawing, so...
Yeah, nor did I read the paper, so
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Sorry, Luca, you are at such a disadvantage, and then is like... they had their little flare up, and now they've sunk back.
Willow's like, don't worry, Luca, it wasn't ha funny.
It wasn't funny anyway. And it's
Ugh.
just doing their bitter jokes.
Yeah. Boy. Is this how we're winding down?
Think so.
What a
Yeah.
fun, relaxing conversation to have.
Yeah.
Where do we pick back up? Nighttime.
Oh. And not moving very far from the room for a lot of reasons. I think they just feel like they want to be confined in this space with the other two.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like safety. But I think they're just gonna kind of do their evening routine and tuck into bed, and they will be writing in their journal, but they're not sequestering themselves or going into the courtyard or anything. That'd be silly. Why would you go into the courtyard in the middle of the night?
Mm-hmm. Especially
Why would
since
you
it's
dance
raining out.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
extra silly.
Why would you do that?
Why would you want to feel the rain on your skin?
No one else can feel it for you.
Yeah, only you can let it in.
Actually don't know that song. I only know it through
Jesus.
you guys memeing it.
Oh.
Well,
No.
We need
is-
to listen to it after then.
Yeah,
Lucas
Yeah.
on
gotta
it.
get you educated.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's what En's doing. Just writing
Yeah.
in their journal.
I think
Are
Willow
you?
might. Oh.
Yep. Let you go first.
Oh, Willow might be using that like wind down time to study as well. I feel like their
Mhm.
like 1 hour of intense study for the book has been kind of split. So
Mm-hmm.
now that they've told N they can like more freely study, I would like them to get the like culmination of that hour probably done tonight
Mm-hmm.
by oil lantern or whatever it may be, so that I can
Yeah.
claim my benefits from reading this book, claim my boons.
Yeah. Which monster are you looking for, or are you just looking in general?
Oh, what's
You do
is there
it each
anything
time
in here?
you want to study a monster in particular.
Yes.
You do it for an hour.
Or yeah, or a category of monsters.
I
Yeah.
think I want to
And-
look at like all aberrations. Is that too long?
Okay.
To...
Nope, that's
Okay.
fine. I think
Alright.
there's definite like these categories exist for a reason.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
In which case, yes, you may have. I believe it is like an intelligence advantage on a intelligence skill check to have lore on monster or type of monster.
What's the thing? I wrote it down, like what you mentioned last week. Advantage on Arcana, History, Nature, information checks regarding monsters. Challenge rating 8 or lower. Is that the one that I've gained
Yes.
now? Okay.
Yes. So
Alright.
a category of monster will also work.
Okay. Nice. So aberrations. Sort of spent my night
Yes.
researching
Yes.
with the storms and the flickering lantern light. Well, no, fish dog, I guess, is also my little
Yeah.
lamp.
Yeah.
If I put a shade over fish dog's light, then it is a lamp. So
Yes.
Give him
Yeah.
a little hat.
yeah. Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
What's Luca doing?
Probably just continuing his. What's the word? Like upkeep of his weaponry.
Maintenance.
Yeah. And then writing in his journal about the day. Because he has to.
Parallel play.
Yay!
Yay!
Multi-track drifting.
Everyone
So,
writing
real-
things.
So real quick, Willow, do you want to do that Arcana check with advantage now,
Yes.
or history? Which would you
Wait.
prefer,
Arcana
'cause
or
each of-
history.
or nature?
And this is about
Each-
aberrations in general.
Aberrations. Yes. So, Arcana will give you the most general information of like their sort of properties. Nature will tell you a little more about like their specific biology and habitats, that sort of thing. And history will tell you about like documented cases and stuff like that. Any of these will probably work. It's just like your choice of which flavor of information you are looking for specifically.
I think maybe going with the theme of the day, and that they've been speaking with like Damon and such, they might go for history.
Okay.
More specific examples, see if they can find any. Next would be nature, but they might try that in the morning if that's not something they can do tonight.
Yeah.
All right, so history with advantage?
Yes.
Damn!
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Willow can research.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well,
TN like, oh shit.
opens up all of my
Notes.
bullshit, all of the PDFs.
Just rolls out
One moment.
across the floor. Let's play that video again.
Give Zeke a minute, for pity's sake.
No.
Yeah. Let's see.
I love the dice agreeing. Yeah, Willow's a giant nerd. Yeah, Willow's quite good at researching. Willow's a giant
Yes.
freaking nerd.
So.
Oh gosh.
I didn't even know this was a thing I could do. I
So-
didn't know this what the cool.
So next time we need to go hunting for cockatrice, you can learn about them and tell us about them.
Yes.
Cool.
Nice.
So, the most common understanding of aberrations is that they were brought by the Delkir, who seeded the world with madness and horror, thus creating, so either bringing along aberrations of their own design or making them out of existing creatures, reshaping them. The most commonly documented ones are those lurking in the ruins of ancient Akan, which was the goblinoid empire that began its descent into decline 4,000 years ago after the Delkir invaded and drove them to the brink. It is also believed that Delkir and aberrations have now infested Khyber, if they did not come from there originally. The most commonly documented aberrations that your average dungeon delver would run into are things such as gibbering mouthers,
Delightful.
I think they're called Twitch
Or,
streamers where I'm from.
or Dolgaunts and Dolgrims.
Love dolls.
Dolgorts. Dolgrims.
Dolgaunt, which are emaciated hobgoblins with diseased-hued flesh and open sockets of
Oh.
open eye sockets and a worm-like tongue.
Goblinoid.
Pretty
this-
gnarly.
Yeah. Is their goblinoidness like a throwback to the actual war where the Dalkir invaded? Like,
Yep.
are they like remains of that? Okay.
Yep.
Just so people know, Dakani is like goblinoid, yeah?
Yep. Yep.
Or a type of goblinoid?
The Dakani is the name of the empire.
And the
was Goblinoid
language,
Empire.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a language I
there's
know.
an-
I'm just checking.
it's ancient Dakani and modern Dakani. So compare it. I have compared Dakan to ancient Rome, which is pretty apt. So compare, say, ancient Dakani is like if you speak Latin versus modern Dakani, which is Italian.
So who speaks Italian?
So that feels appropriate.
It does. Yes, no, because I'm just mentioning because I know to use them kind of interchangeably. Like when I say Dakani, it's pertaining to goblinoids, but I don't know if everyone else knows that. So just say for you guys.
Yeah. So it's specifically the goblinoid culture that was that ruled Corvair in ancient times. Not all goblinoids belong to Dakan or Dargoon, which is the current iteration of that sort of culture and region.
Yeah.
But there you have it. So.
Yeah.
Where was I?
Dolgrims and Dolgaunts.
Gaunt. Yeah. So gibbering mouthers, which are like a sort of a soup of mouths that scream and chitter and generally bad.
Yeah.
Where's the
Becoming a theme with aberrations.
Yes.
They equal bad, apparently.
Yes.
Wow.
Creature, So a gibbering mouther is a creature, the composite of eyes, mouths, and liquefied matter of its former victims.
Oh.
Wow.
So it is an amoeba.
Soup.
It is people soup that makes more people soup.
Oh, Arianero.
What?
I just felt like Willow and Damon looking at Luke on vibe. What?
Dolgaunts are the sort of emaciated, disease-hued, eyeless, worm-tongued hobgoblins, and Dolgrims are two goblins essentially squashed together like clay figurines into one horrid little man.
You have enough of those already, thank you.
When you say little, is that like literal? Or is that... Because hobgoblins are kind... Oh, goblins! These are goblins, not hobgoblins.
Yes.
Was the Dolgaunt a hobgoblin?
Yeah, Dolgaunt was a hobgoblin. Dolgrim is big. Goblins.
What's the first one? Dolgorls. I can't read my own writing. Quarrels.
Dolgaunt?
Yeah.
I'll write these up later. Dolgaunt, Dolgrim, and Gibbering Mouther.
Oh, I misheard one at the start. Never mind. Okay, cool.
So those are the most commonly documented ones.
Yuck.
Those tend to be the ones lurking around Dakani ruins. The ones more commonly found in subterranean caves and passages that are most likely linked to Kyber and other things are things like the Choker.
I wonder what it does.
It was a stylish necklace.
Which is Choker from... Oh, okay, that's from a different book. Hold on, I've got like 3 PDFs open.
Oh, good. You were taking like no time at all to offload all this. Just sitting here thinking of meeting these guys. I think Willow might... You know what's funny? I'll say this while Zeke is reading. Hopefully Zeke isn't being distracted by me talking. Willow drew a Nothic when N described it for the first time. And then they now have a little doodle from Damon that has more or less the same energy of like, I have doodled an unspeakable monster in this in pencil in a cartoon style, more or less. Which I find very cute.
Defang that creature, I guess.
Yeah. So Willow's got this little sketch that Damon did, and they have their own sketches that they often do too.
Yep. So a choker is a aberration that is vaguely humanoid in shape, but has a rubbery, cartilaginous, quote-unquote skeleton that allows them to slip through fissures and niches and walls of caverns that then it latches onto. It has these like horrible webbed hands and feet that are filled with sort of horrible barbs.
Mhm.
Delightful.
Yeah. Ambush predators of the realms below.
I'd love an ambush.
Shut
Love to be part of one someday.
There are grells, which another ambush predator. They appear to be like a floating brain case with a bird's beak and long whip-like tentacles that are covered in barbs. Imagine a jellyfish with
like a
beak
Metroid.
and horrid.
Yeah.
Aren't you glad you're reading this before bed?
Yeah, Willow reading this while the storm is happening outside. I'm imagining like heavy rain against the window, like that storm has finally hit,
Yeah.
and then like
Yeah.
the like lights of Fish Dog. Willow's just sitting here with this horror book, horrific book, horrible.
Yeah.
Was the word I was looking for.
Yes.
I just
And
wrote
then
Metroid.
the other most common one is much larger and more dangerous than the others, but somehow also a little bit useful, is the Otyugh, which is
Ugh.
a grotesque bulbous creature with 3 legs, its eyes and nose set along vine-like stalks, a vine-like stalk that snakes from the top of its body, of its bloated body, and 2 rubbery tentacles ending in spiky leaf-like appendages. It buries itself under mounds of offal and carrion, leaving only its sensory stalk exposed. They love to eat trash and waste.
Aw.
So they
we're
actually
not
make
safe
very
then.
good. So they actually rather can be useful in if you keep them fed enough by subterranean communities for garbage disposal.
Oh,
Yeah, that sounds
how
pretty
about that?
ideal.
Yeah. One is actually
However,
good for
if they
something.
are not sated, they will.
Eat people.
Yes.
Therein lies the problem, yes.
Yes.
It's the most risky garbage truck.
If
Truly.
you don't make enough trash this week, you're going in.
So it's
I feel
very
like
if you can
Someone
keep
would have the
like
job of garbage man, but in this instance, it means makes garbage to feed the monster.
Yeah.
they're good if you have like a sizable settlement such as a town or city that regularly disposes of trash.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yes,
Think
if
of
you have
Sean.
a they're I think on a God, what did you roll? A nat 20 for 26?
26.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are in fact lower districts of Sharn or like places in the world that do in fact have a semi-feral Otyugh population to deal with the waste disposal of the city.
How do you spell Otyugh?
Are you not getting it?
Otyugh.
Okay. Cool.
It's the sound you make when you smell one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Alright, cool.
So, you've learned about some common aberrations
Okay.
Nice.
Fun.
and historical cases of them.
Okay, I don't know how helpful that is, but context is always good.
What you are discovering from your brief glance over these is that like body shape doesn't fucking matter. Biology
they can-
doesn't fucking matter.
I think one of the things that'll catch my eye too is like the goblinoid,
Yeah.
like the hobgoblin, the goblin, the soup, the
Mhm.
jellyfish. Like, could
Yeah.
that not also reasonably factor into like the human? Like, it's no, not human.
I
Sorry,
don't-
humanoid. I guess.
Yeah. The
Is that something
jellyfish
I
thing
can-
is no. There's the choker, which is the rubber man that ambushes you.
No. What I mean is like, could that logic not mean that Dalkia? They come in so many different forms, so we can't
Mhm.
rule out like the idea of them also coming in like butler form, artist form. I don't know if that's a conclusion that I can come to.
I don't think it is because the illustrations here are like
Grotesque?
truly grotesque. They look bad. They are bad to look at.
Yeah. So that's good then, because it means that like, look, I'm associating Dalkia. I don't know. I can't really tell what I've learnt, but I'm sure I've learnt it.
Take time to process it.
Yeah.
Mim needs an hour of study
Yeah.
that Willow is doing overnight. Anyway,
Yes.
so that's your bedtime reading.
Congratulations, Willow.
Luca
Yay.
is doing his very normal, thankfully, truly normal bedtime routine.
Someone's gotta.
Someone has to
Someone-
be normal in this group.
Yeah, Luca is driving the car, designated driver.
Thanks, Luca.
Luca.
While everybody else is falling apart, you'll get your turn on the trauma train eventually.
Everyone gets a turn.
All that being said, N, you're writing in your journal. Are you having a conversation?
Yes.
Or are you just writing?
And probably like jotted down a few thoughts just off the cuff of their own. But that's not the main reason that they open their journal right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're going to address the eye with the opener of So, what do you make of all that? They're gonna kind of tap the note that's still in their pocket. They haven't bothered to remove it.
It is valuable information.
Any of it ring any bells?
Some. Others, not so much. I am not a symbiote.
You did
And you
suggest.
will not become a Nothic.
Oh, glad we have that all straightened out. It's quite a high possibility something bigger is in play, though.
We always knew that. We always suspected that.
Yeah, it doesn't really change much other than we have a name and we have some information regarding what it might be capable of. I'm sure it's capable of much more than what's on our little note here.
Yes.
But,
Much more.
but you don't look at that and it doesn't bring back any memories of home.
Mm.
And could you make an Arcana check?
Okay,
Good luck.
thanks.
It is familiar in some ways, but not enough. There is a gap
that I know is there, but I cannot feel it.
Yeah, well, let's just stop being around the bush. I have suspicions that, I don't know, it's a possibility that you were taken off that creature. It's got so many eyes, I'm sure it's got some to spare.
You may be right, but there may be more to it as well. I doubt it is that simple.
Never is. Sure you noticed.
Especially if I doubt a creature that man fears would allow parts of itself to be stolen.
Yeah, I mean, considering what the note suggests, it seems more likely that that thing is the top of the food chain, not the snapdragons. Or some arrangement. Does seem difficult to wrangle. I'm sure you noticed my, and kind of flips back, page of theorizing from the other night, and I was half out of my mind.
I do live inside of your head.
Really, I haven't noticed. So many questions in this ramble. Started wondering about the idea that everything that happened there, that the year wasn't just for the pleasure of the audience, but was some sort of, you know, worship or ritual or something involved with this creature. If it feeds on pain like it seems to, if Tarek's situation is any indication, then it lines up with what happened at the theater. Suffering there could have been feeding on that, the same way it fed on Tarek.
Make another Arcana check. You are making Arcana checks on behalf of the eye.
Yeah,
Ooh.
thought as much. I'd like to roll higher than an 8 someday, but we'll go with that.
One day.
We will have to find out more if we are to test your hypothesis.
Yeah. We can't rule out the possibility that you were a seed taken from the tree, that the tree is the beholder. You are the seed. There are possibly branches.
Possibly.
And that makes me question why. Why were you planted at all in the first place? Was it an experiment? Was it to experiment on what you were capable of through us disposable people? If you were dangerous, then of course you would use it on a lab rat over, you know, your prestigious fellows. Or was it something else? Were you planted for another reason? And taps another section of their journal. Was it to feed this thing? Some sort of conduit, some sort of connection? Why plant it in us if we were just going to die? Unless you wanted to feed on that, like something fed on Tarek.
I wonder.
And you're certain you're not connected to anything else now? You can't be sure.
No.
Well,
I do not know the bounds of my form. I am not like you in that I have a body with skin and bones. I do not have borders in the way that you do, defined against the world and others.
All right, well, we'll just have to work with that then.
That being said, I am not passing along information knowingly or willingly to anyone but you, my host.
That's all we can hope for. Start hearing any voices from third parties, be sure to let me know. Do you recognize that sound, that quality on Alonzo's thoughts? Did that seem familiar to you at all?
Perhaps I... Make... Oh... What did I ask you to make that time when you couldn't recognize it? Was it an insight check or...
It might have been intelligence. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Okay, which do you think it would be more appropriate? Insight check to recall emotional information, or an intelligence check or arcana check to recall factual information?
I mean, I feel like N is leaning toward factual because it wasn't a quality that was emotionally striking or seemed to be driven by emotion, and N was trying to kind of mentally record it as a fact at the time so that they could recall it in whatever capacity they needed to try and get information from someone else. So maybe Arcana because it was weird.
In that case, I'm going to say insight.
Okay.
There was something familiar about it. We might have heard something like that at the theater. I can't recall where or how.
Well, I guess that's no surprise, considering his affiliations. It makes me wonder about Warfred. Warfred also has, and then taps their head with their pencil. It would seem.
Indeed.
Would you be able to sense if there are any others like you nearby?
I am limited to your senses.
Right. So unless it's visible or otherwise detected. Good to know.
Maybe that is a power we could learn.
I certainly won't object. Considering all the bastards we're dealing with right now. For all I know, Alonzo could also have an eye. Oh, we have one thing in our court now. And rolls the coin that Willow gave them. This at least should keep us aware to an extent. more to the point, the aforementioned bastards and Tarek's entire spiel, it's not out of the question that you are going to meet something links you back to your origin. Maybe you weren't taken directly off of a boulder, but you have some sort of connection to these creatures, and we might be in contact with one very soon.
Whatever happens, we have an agreement. Our mutual survival.
They might try to sway you. We're dealing with manipulative magics. Half of them probably knowing more than you or I do. They try to convince you to do things to me, or make me do things I don't want to do. Some sort of gain that I can't give you.
The same goes for you. They might offer you a way to be rid of me at a price. And that would ensure my destruction.
Well, you're in luck. I don't trust them, and I sure as hell trust your powers more than anything they would do to me. I intend to keep
So,
you.
There's a strange feeling that wells up in the back of your mind at that.
Should I try and insight check that?
If you want to, yeah.
Give it a go. No. 3.
Sound like
You
failures
can have
there.
advantage, it's in your head.
Okay. Maybe Theo's also here, like, excuse, pardon the fuck out of me. Okay,
There
that's
we
a bit
go,
better.
that's better. It's a feeling of confused gratitude and warmth. You know when Seeker Elsa said that she trusted you?
Yeah.
Or Luca has claimed you as his friend, sworn to protect and journey with you? Or Willow hugged you on the bathroom floor while you were having a breakdown?
Yes, I
That
recall.
sort of surge of complicated, overwhelming emotion.
Alright, and, like, stills at that.
This may be the first time that you have said something not just neutral or collaborative towards the eye, but actively wanting towards it.
Yeah, I guess it is. Oh, yes, all that being said, I have my reasons that I would certainly endeavor to avoid doing anything that aligns with what the Snapdragons want.
indeed, we are bound together. We have a pact. And neither of us is willing to violate it.
I just want you to be prepared for the possibility that I'm not the only one who's vulnerable to, big revelations that might change the entirety of your worldview or your plans for the next couple hours. We don't know what we'll learn about you, what you were, what you're capable of. But monster is what you
Whatever.
do, not what you are.
You are right. Whatever it is, we will learn together and overcome together.
Yeah. Yes. Even if you came from something pretty terrible, it's just a distinct possibility. Whatever you were in a past life, if anything. Even if your powers stem from something sadistic, you can fight that. You can fight against that. And if you're gonna be part of me, then I suggest you get ready to be a bit of a rebel.
And
And, like, lifts their head a bit. They're listening.
everything I have done has been to help protect and to help let you grow. You know that, right?
I know that.
Good.
I'm just preparing for an uncertain future. Want to know we're on the same page about this. But what we're not. We are not the Snapdragon's tools, no matter what they offer us, no matter what they suggest, no matter what they tell us. No matter what we were.
We are what we choose to be.
Exactly.
They will not make us into a monster.
No, they won't. I won't make you a monster, you won't make me a monster, and they sure as hell won't either.
Everybody wins. Except for our enemies.
That would be the ideal. One thing at a time. Of one innocent lined up that we have to keep safe.
Are you planning on telling Jaylee?
Oh. I'm gonna have to tell her something. Probably not the whole 9 yards, but... Like I said, I can't leave this alone. I don't suppose you can think of any reason that they would be drawn to a girl like her.
Same reason they were drawn to you?
Hmm.
Why they were drawn to the others? Or maybe we are overthinking it. And Edmund Beckett
does just like art.
That's possible. Well, if that's the case, let's show him some art.
He does seem to be a fan of the theater. We are a very good actor.
That we are.
I think the conversation ends at that.
Yeah. Tucks their pencil away and closes the book. Rubs at their head a bit. And lays back to try and get some sleep.
I think. Can I say that Willow's probably turning in around the same time as you? I figured we all kind of studied late. Is Lucas still up?
Yeah, probably. Although he's probably winding down as well.
Yeah. I think on the way, Willow's going to. Having heard Anne scribbling in their book for the past, like, however long Anne's been talking to the eye, with, like, pauses in between, Willow's going to say, "How's Ivan?"
Glass breaking noise as Anne's eyes open back up.
Just on the way past the bed, and they give Willow, like, Anne, like, a little insistent look. They said that like a joke, but they are waiting for a response.
Processing, but not about to fly off the handle.
And make a perception check.
Okay.
There's something that briefly flickers in your peripheral vision, but then it's gone.
I think Anne sits up, though, because they're feeling on edge about everything. And looks in the direction.
That look. Ugh, Willow's gonna look like Willow had this comfortable little smile, like they're being trying to be comfy with you, trying to check in on you. But then, like, if Anne gives that look of like, you know how kids look past you like they've seen a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Willow like abruptly looks at the empty space where Anne was, like, What?
Yeah, was that inside
What?
my head or outside?
Willow's going to raise their glasses and look into the empty space real quick. Is there a ghost here?
Yeah. Anne is looking in the direction of where they saw the flicker, but they're like doubling back in their own brain, like, was that actually in the room? Like, they're looking in the direction of where they saw it. Does it seem feasible that something was there and disappeared, or was that in my head?
Make an insight check. Willow, make a perception check.
Suddenly, all on high alert.
I've been reading about
God, I
horrors
would
all
love
evening.
to roll something higher than 10 at some point.
There was
stacking
nothing
tension.
there. There was nothing there, and it might have been a flicker from the eye or something. Like, you look at it, it's not like something disappeared there in real life.
After seeing nothing there, Willow looks back at you with their glasses on, like it was just a quick flick up, flick down.
Yeah.
And they look back at you and they say, "Can you stop?"
Sorry, I thought I saw something. I must just be getting tired. Anyway, it's...
Viola.
But you do have... I think we're hearing Luca's voice. Willow's looking like you do have an eye that is possibly Dalkia. If you're seeing stuff, it might be the eye. Willow gives you that look of like, are you the problem? Maybe, like, no offense, but
And raises their hand,
I
like,
just
I've considered it, yes, but I didn't see what it was, so...
and it's gonna go open their book, take out their pencil, and say in italics, "Ivan, was that you?"
oh my gosh.
There's a long pause, and then in smaller text, as if mumbled, you see it right. That's not my name.
Answer the question. Right. Under that.
Aww.
Please. A moment later.
Yes, it was me.
What
Tell them to stop calling me Ivan.
is that what that was about?
Yes.
And closes the book. You probably should find a different name. Or no name at all, really.
I've been calling it Iris in my book because it's an I.
I think Willow started thinking, like, did it have a problem with me saying Ivan? No. And then you confirmed it, and Willow's like, so yeah, Willow will look insistently at N and say, I think we will let the I or N, or whatever that blurry line between the two of you is, determine the name. I will stop referring to you incorrectly. Very sorry.
Luca nods.
Apology
accepted, I assume.
Yeah.
Well, feel free to write and let me know.
And do you wanna quickly make another insight check with advantage?
Sure. Give me another try. Nice.
You cuss, man.
It's not that hard, but basically the eye was like a embarrassed.
Aww.
Oh my god. You gave the eye anxiety. How would you do this?
I have anxiety.
Okay.
I have anxiety.
So wait, so it's okay now. What can end insight? The eye was embarrassed.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, we've
okay?
ruled out a name, and we've also discussed the information, and so far, nothing super alarming beyond the usual. Entirety of the whole situation being incredibly alarming.
Yes, well, that's hardly sleeping talk, so
No.
as long as you are both well.
So far, so good.
Enough. Yeah. And says that so far so good with the energy of, like, you know when like mice bristle and their fur's like just out, like I feel like En's like so far so good and they've got like such a vibe about them.
En's gonna put their book away and lay down.
Willow gives Luca a look as if to ask, same to you. You good?
Luca nods.
Cool. Yeah, I'll just trust that. Willow's gonna go like wash up and then with intent to head to bed. And all those awful thoughts, avoiding looking at the mirror, honestly, because it's like scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we'll head to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Cool. I think, N, when you close your eyes, you see on the inside of your eyelids a mumbled sorry. It's stupid.
Oh.
And breathes a laugh, and waves their hand a bit. I've done stupider.
You fall asleep. All of you.
Yeah.
To the sound of rain and the distant rumble of thunder. Next morning.
Oh shit!
Summer has well and truly arrived in Regalport now.
Okay.
The violent rains have cleared to bring the morning, bright and fresh and glistening in the sunlight. Kind of morning that would make one glad to be alive and out of doors. What are your morning routines like?
And I'll get up and wash themselves and probably get ready to have breakfast and head out because they are gonna be antsy until they talk with Jaylee. So that's like the first thing on their agenda. So they're just getting themselves ready for that. getting clean, getting
Mhm.
fed, going over notes, going over thoughts.
I think Luca would want to make sure everyone knows what everyone is doing. So
Mhm.
Well, I can't know all of it, and I won't
Oh,
tell
yeah.
you guys very
Well,
much. But
You know
Yeah.
when you should expect them back, and you know where they are at least going physically, if
Yeah.
not what they are doing.
Willow's probably doing tinkering related stuff. You guys might see that they are working on incorporating the poison tabs in a subtle way into their clothes. Like I think you just see that they are toying with
smart.
their gloves or their bracelets or something like that.
Yeah.
Probably their gloves.
Yeah.
Um,
Make a Tinker's Tools check for me, please.
this is Willow's wake up routine.
Mhm.
Um,
Oh,
Tinker's
yeah. I
use
just
fish
can't
dog
start my
for
day until
advantage.
still I've made something.
Yeah.
it's my wakey uppy. Nice.
Yeah, good. You can successfully incorporate the poison tabs into your armor discreetly.
Nice. Yeah, Willow's been doing that in the morning and just thinking kind of quietly about the rest of the day. I think they will mention to N, like, one of the things, either during the previous conversation or today, that, like, they do
Mhm.
have the option of sending a letter to Jaylee so as not to be seen there, especially if they're planning, like, you know, to do changeling stuff later. But that is just their idle suggestion.
Yeah, and considers it, but like they just feel like this is the kind of information they'd probably want to talk with her in person
there for.
about.
Mhm.
Not trust the post.
Yeah.
I think,
Okay.
Luca, today you are on Brina duty, which is to say you are going to probably meet N at the Madani office later after N has done the Jaylee things.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
I have a few more tinkering things to do too, but I don't know if... Not that you said that first thing in the morning. That's...
Mhm.
I warmed up with this and I have the other stuff to do.
Mhm.
Which I might do when you guys step out.
Okay.
Hmm.
Cool.
I'm not. Am I leaving right away, or I'd be going like a little while later?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I-
Like Willow would do it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I imagine you're going like with N.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay. Oh yeah, I'm bodyguarding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Every like there is no reason for you to not be tagging along, I would say.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I mean, Jaylee has met you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And's probably angling to talk with her on their own, but
Yeah.
Luca is definitely not dissuading Luca from coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you can have a private conversation with her to the side and Luca can busy himself, but it's not a bad thing to have Luca just
Yeah.
around.
Around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Besides, he might be approached by Alonso again.
Yeah, well, that just that'll just solve all my problems, won't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Every damn one.
Mm-hmm. So, Anne and Luca, on your way out, please give me perception checks.
Are you a good bitch, Damon? Or... Oh my
Who knows?
god.
Who knows?
Finally,
What?
above a 10.
Was it?
Yay.
Yeah, perception. Okay. My brain is off.
So is Lucas.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
waking
just
up.
waking up. I'm too pretty.
Yeah, you're just like really enjoying the summer sun. You're like, strawberry season.
Oh. Oh, how cute! I miss Luca. Like his outlooks.
Yeah. That being said, though, and as you are walking, you catch sight of a newspaper stand with some dire headlines, let's say.
Oh. Dire sharks.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
No.
Do you...
Yeah, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the
Stop.
impact.
Okay. I'm just like...
And
there's
slows.
words. There's like words that catch your eye, and then you stop and read them.
Yeah.
3 jump out at you. Tharani Theatre defaced, accused of Darling Playlight's death.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
On the Regal Port Herald, on the Panoply, is playwright's demise behind postponed performances. And finally, on the Scuttlebutt, is there a murderess among the sea dragons? The truth of
Oh.
playwright's death that the captains don't want you to know.
Oh my god.
Oh boy. Someone has spilled the beans to the press. Great. En's gonna like shove that into Luca's chest to read. Looks like things just
Yeah,
got
there's-
complicated for the cornered animal.
Yeah.
Hmm.
There are 3 different newspapers.
Yeah.
Please give me like 5 copper.
Will do.
For a copy of each.
Yep, and probably slaps that down, takes the papers before we can do anything about it. Well, that probably will complicate matters, including if Meraldine is involved in the operation, which I imagine N has kind of filled Luca in on that
Yeah,
situation by
Yes.
now. Guess we'll have to talk with Brina about what this means for us and our movements. But someone is definitely working fast.
How would they know?
Well, see, there's the question, are they doing this because they know they're cornered, or are they doing this because they're impatient? And they're impatient that they're not getting the recognition, or that the right person hasn't been caught.
Hmm.
They might not know anything. They might be stupid. They might just be impatient, which is the exact opposite of what you want to be when you're in a position like a, I don't know, killer. Controlling the narrative. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Luca raises an eyebrow, like jokingly. You speaking from experience?
I don't know, Luca, am I?
Audrey's voice comes out of N.
Scary.
Oh, that's bizarre.
One fire at a time. Ed kind of winces at that description.
Yeah.
Shoves the other newspaper into Luca's arms.
Hmm.
That's fine. If Meraldine can at least get us an inn somewhere nearby, it's all we need from her. Doesn't have to do anything.
Might be useful if it isn't from. If it's from an unreliable source.
There are ways we can swing this. I'm just curious about how maneuverable Meraldine will be in light of this news. But that's something we'll discuss with Brina. I'm just glad no one's dead that we know of.
Nope. But as you
Yet.
pass through town towards Jaylee's studio, you can't help but overhear the gossip on everybody's lips. The signs, the posters for the Folly of the Four Sons that you had passed by previously. Many of them defaced, being scrubbed down by street cleaners.
And shakes their head a bit like, man. Yeah. That's the thing about gossip, isn't it?
Why are they doing that?
Defacing?
Hmm.
Why would they be doing that? Like, with the newspaper article, why is it... What is the newspaper article kind of leaning towards in terms of what the defacing would mean? Like, were they saying that Thorani was involved in some way in Tarek's death? What did it say?
So the Regal Port Herald, which is the most sort of established newspaper
Percy
for-
Dragon.
Uh-huh. Got it.
has a front page sizzler saying that overnight the front house of the Gallery of Shadows and many of the posters around town for the highly controversial opera The Folly of the Four Sons have been defaced with various slogans announcing the death of Tarek Elham and accusing Thorani of hiding the fact. The newspaper says, "Look to future issues as journalists will be investigating these claims." So it's not...
They're spreading the
So-
news by
Yeah.
defacing the posters,
Right.
drawing people's attention to the truth of the matter. They're
Mm.
getting the word around, that's for sure. Someone is very dedicated to this. To all eyes seeing what was originally being hidden by, our killer here. The esteemed captain. Someone.
Yeah, I will say these are 3 different newspapers
Yeah.
with 3 different
Yeah.
takes on it.
Yeah.
Can I
Someone,
just be reminded? Oh, sorry.
someone sure is getting the word out.
Can I
This
just
could
be?
be troublesome.
I'll stop
Sorry,
talking.
continue.
I'm festering over here. No, I'm not even in the scene. I'm just forcing myself to like hold my. This is my shit. Anyway,
You can ask your question,
Yeah,
Min, so
yeah.
that we can
My-
put it to bed.
my question was: so the Regalport Herald is basically a Thorani-based accusation. The Scuttlebutt was a Meraldine-centric accusation from memory. What was the second one?
Playwright's demise behind postponed performances. I've just read out the headlines and the sort of blurb for the Regalport Herald. The other 2 have not been read yet outside of the headlines.
Well, I'll be reading them as we walk.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
I just forgot the second one's name.
yes. The second one is Panoply, a mid-tier
Panoply.
culture and arts magazine. Usually sticks to simple reporting on upcoming or past art events, has suddenly had a hot tip that the reason why 3
Hot
weeks
tip.
worth of tickets to the lauded opera, The Folly of the Four Sons, have been refunded by mail is due to a catastrophic death of the playwright. The lead star Lydia de Thorani apparently witnessed the murder herself at the attack on the Grand Auction Hall, but news of Tarek Elham's death has been widely suppressed until now.
Hmm. Okay.
It speculates that they were trying to avoid a scandal, or that perhaps the actress was traumatized by the event. And they will be reaching out to House Thorani for comment.
Okay.
And
so-
finally,
Not so much a gossipy.
no, it's much more factual reporting.
No. Sorry, I said a cat.
Yeah, the cat is also
Yeah.
here.
No.
The street cat are
Yeah.
also complaining
The good
about all of
pauses
this
to hear the
noise.
cat. Look for it.
And all this
if you
cleaning,
can
and all
pet
the
it.
water like sopping into the alleyway.
Mm. And finally, the Scuttlebutt, a widely derided gossipy / conspiracy rag, has a
Yep.
full-blown conspiracy article that the playwright Tarek Elham was publicly murdered, but all news of it suppressed by the Sea Dragons in order to protect the reputation of his erstwhile romantic partner, Meraldine Frostroot. The article goes down a dozen different paths of conspiracy. Frostroot murdered Elham for an affair with the leading actress. Different Sea Dragon murdered
Do it.
Elham out of jealousy. Thorani was dissatisfied with the ticket sales, so they murdered Elham to stoke a controversy, only to be brought to heel by Ryger. Elham was murdered by political enemies for exposing the true cause of Ciri's destruction, though it is unclear whether those enemies are Siren loyalist fanatics or anti-Siren instigators. It is listing every possible
Yeah.
iteration.
I think Anne is nursing a headache, even like seeing out of the periphery this gossip article. They've seen so many gossip news articles in their time, it's just headache inducing.
it is so blatantly saying everything in the most inflammatory,
Yeah.
fear-baity, exaggerated language possible.
Yeah.
And while also carefully couching it so as they're not actually stating anything as fact, but instead is like
Allegedly.
makes you think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Sure makes you
it's just
think.
like, yeah, it's the saying everything but.
Luca kind of raises one of the papers towards N, like, remember what I told Kai about preferring factual reporting?
Well, that's definitely not it. I want to snatch it out of Luca's hand and eat it.
Set it on fire.
Can I? Are you done with this?
We can use it for target practice later.
Fine. I want to just
I know how to
blast in the
satiate
streets. So irritating. Of course he would do this. Of course he would do this. Anyway. Deep breaths. Everything's fine.
I think on that note of collecting yourself, you enter the studio to go meet Jaylee. And this is where we'll end the episode.